If you've ever popped some popcorn to watch an earnings event unfold, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Folks, welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. We got past one of the big events here this week. It is, of course, Thursday, August 28th. We're going to be talking about those earnings, talking about what's going on, and then we have more trading to do here. So NVIDIA did exactly what we were anticipating, beat on the top and the bottom line, guided higher, and traded down. We're going to go ahead and break down all of that, take a look at some other things to trade here. Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook, the Thursday, August 28th edition starts right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. Great to see a whole bunch of returning faces. I hope that you all had a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. Happy Hump Day, happy NVIDIA earnings day, whatever it was that you were celebrating yesterday. Hopefully you had a great rest of your day. We're back here today. We've got a lot of stuff to break down, a lot of stuff to discuss, and we also have some trading to do. The trading has been awesome, and we are absolutely looking for some more awesomeness here today. Great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here. Cad Monkey is first today. We got a new first poster in here. Love it, Cad Monkey. Good morning. Welcome back. Brent, good morning. Back from vacation. Hopefully your vacation was well. Hopefully you're calm and relaxed now that you're back from vacation. Peter, good morning. Welcome back. Big Dave, good morning. Tom, good morning. We are going to have a great day. Tom, we're here together. We're all breathing. We've got two healthy legs under me right now. We're going to have a great day without a doubt. Candace, good morning. Brian, good morning. Sun-Kissed Yogi, good morning as always. Florida Yacht Insurance Guy, good morning. Big Bear Hug, good morning. Yassine, good morning. Zach, welcome back. Cam, 13 was so right about NVIDIA. Saying the same thing, Cam. Come on now. But we did have that pegged. And the question now is does this start a sell-off into September? We'll see how today shakes out. Pretty exciting stuff. Good morning, producer. Thanks for all your help behind the scenes running the stream. Knights Lance, good morning. Welcome back. Good to see you. Jonathan, good morning. And good to see you again, as always. Cam already smashed the like button. That's the energy I wanted to hear, Cam. Let's go. That's exactly what we wanted to hear. Good stuff. Just passing through. Good morning. Hopefully you stick around instead of just passing through here today. Day Trader, good morning. GB Slice, good morning. Ryan, good morning. Maverick, good morning. Jay Grant, good morning. Glass half full, good morning. Long or short, that's kind of what we're going to discuss here today. I'm not sure which way it's going to shake out. My gut tells me up, but we'll see. We'll make sure we have a plan for both. How about that? Paulo, good morning. Welcome back. JJ, good morning. Christian, good morning. Pete, welcome back, Pete. Good to see you again. Good morning. Rooster and Sassy Butterfly Chick, good morning. Welcome back. Big Milkshake Trading, good morning. Joseph, good morning. And the man from Snowy River, buenos dias. Good morning. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stock market today. All right, the stock market futures are about flat here today. S&P 500 up 0.02%, Dow is up 0.14%, and the NASDAQ here down 0.03%. Yesterday, the SPY put in a new all-time high, and the Qs rose by 0.031%. And that, of course, comes on the back of the really important NVIDIA earnings. Recording the biggest gains on Wednesday was energy, information technology, and real estate stocks, which led most of the S&P sector to a positive close. Communication services and healthcare stocks, however, bucked the market trend and ended up going lower. The broader market saw U.S. stocks settle higher, with the Dow Jones gaining over 100 points, and the S&P 500 also achieved a new all-time closing high. On the economic data front, the volume of mortgage applications declined by 0.5% from the previous week in the third week of August, following a 1.4% decline the prior month. MongoDB, probably the biggest performer yesterday, jumped 38%. after the company reported better than expected second quarter financial results and also raised its full year guidance. Shares of Kohl's rose 24% after the company reported better than expected quarterly financial results and raised its full year 25 revenue outlook. The treasury yields here, let me go back to that here. Sorry, the 10-year treasury bond yielded 4.23%. The 2-year bond yielded 3.62%. Interestingly, on the back of those NVIDIA earnings this morning, Intel, the only chip maker, higher. All right, now let's take a look at some of those SPY levels. Just mentioned that we did put in a new all-time high yesterday. It wasn't a huge move higher, but in fact, it was a new all-time high. And looking at the daily chart here, sure looks like we're going to try and push higher again here today. Now, key levels, all of them to me are going to be downside levels. I guess we could add another key level here of 647.91, which represents the pre-market high of the SPY here when we were open earlier, or when we opened earlier this morning. So we'll see if we can take out those pre-market highs, or we'll see if we sell off here today. I know the question was, do we go long or short here today? And I'll be honest with you, after looking at NVIDIA, let's actually pull that up here real quick. NVIDIA only down by 1% now in the pre-market. If we back out, you can see exactly what this has been doing since it reported its earnings. Two takeaways here. Number one, the options implied, I think like a 7%. Let me actually pull this up here. Options, where are you? Where are you? Options implied a 5.9% move on NVIDIA, and we didn't get that. We're actually only down 1% here. At its low, NVIDIA, I think, was only down close to 4% in the after hours yesterday, and already we're almost being bought back to flat. So as far as your question about should we be long or short today, I'll be honest with you. I think that if NVIDIA teases a red to green move here today, I would suspect that the indices and the broader market here would follow. Now, we'll see if that takes place here today. We really want to see what happens when the volume flows in at the market open, but I really think that we could go either way here. It was a beat on the top and the bottom line for NVIDIA, and it was a guidance raise. But the couple of things there, and we're going to talk about that, there was the H20 chips being sold to China. That obviously kind of weighed on it. And then we might just be, we're having some compressed margins, and it might just be peak earnings for NVIDIA. We'll go ahead and dive in there. I'm really curious to see how that trades here. Given the initial move down on NVIDIA, I'm quite pleased to see how resilient the rest of the market is. Remember, we talked yesterday about NVIDIA actually being a part of the SPY, the Qs, and the Dow as well. So lots of good stuff here. We'll see if the market has more strength here today. I'll be honest, the pre-market a little bit stronger than I anticipated when I first saw the report. The one thing to keep in mind about NVIDIA, and again, we're going to go ahead and take a look at a lot of NVIDIA stuff here today. They are still growing, but the growth has slowed, and that might be what investors are reacting to here. Now, we talked a little bit about the SPY and the market here. Let's take a look at some insights here from analysts. According to Louis Navalier, NVIDIA guidance excluded any H20 chip sales to China. Quote, so that apparently weighed on the stock in aftermarket trading, end quote. He further explained that the stock does not often rally in the wake of earnings because of all of the call options written by market makers to collect option premium. So we just talked about how the options were predicting a 5.9% move. We got far less than that, and it does look like those option sellers are going to win this print. Again, we'll see how today shakes out, but so far, so good. Quote, sometimes market makers run mean reversion algorithms to prevent them from exercising all call options issued, end quote. According to Yahoo Finance, NVIDIA's stock dropped because its data center revenue grew 56% year over year to $41.1 billion compared to Bloomberg's estimate of $41.3 billion. Pretty small miss there, honestly, but perhaps that's weighing on it. However, Wedbush analyst Dan Ives said the results in the outlook reaffirm NVIDIA's leadership in the AI infrastructure. Quote, this is a robust quarter and guide from NVIDIA, end quote, especially when considering not factoring in China H20 revenues. Demand massive for NVIDIA AI chips and not slowing down. Key there is that he's saying the demand is not slowing down. Deepwater Asset Management, Gene Munster, said the street is underestimating NVIDIA's growth trajectory. Munster noted that adjusted guidance beat whisper numbers and highlighted CEO Jensen Huang's comments suggesting NVIDIA's China business could eventually represent $50 billion annually and grow at 50%. Quote, he, referring to Huang, thinks that they could sell fully into China. This would be a $50 billion year business for them. They're going to do about 250 billion next year, end quote. Just eye-popping numbers here for NVIDIA. Clearly one of the leaders there, especially in AI. Quote, my read is China's probably growing a little bit faster than the rest of the world, but Jensen thinks that they're going to grow next year between 40 and 50%. Again, that's from Gene Munster. That's a pretty big jump, and something doesn't really jive here because when you look at it from that perspective, that's further evidence that the stock could be up. I know you guys were waiting for this. CNBC's Jim Cramer weighed in, repeating his long-held advice, own it, don't trade it. Remember, the own it, don't trade it mantra really started with Apple, and it's now being applied to NVIDIA. And of course, Cramer posting pictures of his very cute dog named NVIDIA in that post. You take from that what you will. Meanwhile, Stratagas Research Partners has outlined 20 compelling reasons suggesting global economic growth is reaccelerating, as shared by Chris Verone, a macro analyst. Among these, the report highlights S&P 500's 50-day average breaking out as a bullish market signal, a 19% steepening of the U.S. 10-year yield curve and 21% for China's one-year curve, indicating growth expectations and robust data like surging U.S. initial jobless claims near 50-year lows. The discussion thread expands on this, with contributors noting potential rate cuts and an enactment of the Build Back Better plan, seen as boosting certainty and investment, as additional catalysts per Ryan Edwards' reply. A surge in the dry bulk shipping index, evidenced by a user-shared chart, further supports this trend, reflecting heightened global trade activity. With 16 more points in the report, including rising imports and steel outputs, this paints a multifaceted picture of recovery. Now, diving in a little bit more to NVIDIA, I guess we should first start with the chart because we are going to talk quite a bit about NVIDIA today. I would imagine you folks are going to want to take a look at this or maybe even trade it today. We are, by the way, tomorrow when we have Anne-Marie on her segment, we are going to follow up on NVIDIA and see if there's any post-earnings trade. By then, we'll have some more data to hopefully make a good decision on where this thing is going. But here's the chart. One of the things is if NVIDIA continues, if it can't go red to green and it can't continue to trade up, if it can't rally here today, really think that the next stop is about 10 points lower down here at 170. I've got it marked off at 169.94. That's the 50-day moving average, but for all intents and purposes, that 170 level sure looks to be the next downside level. We also have the 20-day moving average basically right where the price is. So the fact that NVIDIA has bounced back and is unable so far to build above that 20-day moving average leads me to believe that we still have the potential for downside here. We'll see. Oh, and I wasn't even sharing the chart. How about that? Way to go, Ryan. You screwed up 13 minutes into the show. That's good stuff. Here's a chart. We're right at that 20. Let's see if we can capture it and hold it. Otherwise, I really do think that the 170 or 50-day moving average is probably next. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about NVIDIA here. NVIDIA did report their second quarter financial results, and they recorded revenue of $46.74 billion. That's up 56% year over year. The revenue total beat a street estimate consensus of $46.07 billion. That's according to data from Benzinga Pro. The company reported adjusted earnings per share of 105 in the quarter, which beat the street consensus of 101 in the same quarter. Non-GAAP gross margins for the quarter were 72.7%. The company had no H20 sales to China-based customers in the second quarter. NVIDIA said it benefited from a $180 million release of H20 inventory that was sold to a customer outside of China. Blackwell data center revenue was up 17% quarter over quarter. And then here's a look at some of the performance by business segment. Data center up 5% year over year. Gaming and AI and PC up 14% year over year. Professional visualizations up 16% year over year. And automotive up 3% year over year. Now that's in descending order from the total revenue, obviously with data center being at the top and automotive being at the bottom. Quote, Blackwell is the AI platform that the world has been waiting for. We love this from Jensen. He loves his hyperbole. He loves to pump his own stock, and that makes shareholders of his stock quite happy. For delivering an exceptional generational leap, production of Blackwell Ultra is ramping at full speed, and the demand is extraordinary. Huang also said NVIDIA NLink rack scale computing is, quote, revolutionary and arriving just in time as reasoning AI models drive orders of magnitude increases in training. The AI race is on, and Blackwell is the platform at its center. NVIDIA announced a new $60 billion share buyback authorization and said it had $14.7 billion remaining on the existing repurchase agreement. NVIDIA is guiding for third quarter revenue to be in a range of $52.92 billion to $55.08 billion. That's versus the street consensus of $52.96 billion, according to Benzinga Pro. The guidance does not include any H20 shipments to China. So they're guiding above the estimate. The guidance range is above the estimate anyway. If they are able to make some of these H20 shipments to China at some point in the future, that only serves as a positive catalyst here for NVIDIA. NVIDIA expects non-GAAP gross margins to be 73.5% in the third quarter, plus or minus 50 basis points. The company expects to exit the year with non-GAAP gross margins in the mid 70% range. Now, for some more on NVIDIA here, Jensen Huang called this a new industrial revolution. And I think that this is one of the big things that really has people kind of on both sides of where the market is going here. We're all kind of expecting a soft September, perhaps a correction from one of the moves that or from the most recent move that we've had up here. But we're also hearing things that AI is going to lead the new industrial revolution. During the call, Huang framed AI as a, quote, new industrial revolution, end quote, highlighting its transformative impact on the global economy. This revolution, he says, comes with a surge in computing demand, with reasoning agentic AI models requiring 100 times, 1,000 times, and potentially even more in computing resources relative to the one-shot chatbots only generated answers based on prompts. Quote, where chatbots used to be one shot, you give it a prompt and it would generate the answer. Now the AI does the research. It thinks and does a plan. He says this demand can lead to a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity for NVIDIA and its products. Over the next 5 years, we're going to scale into, with Blackwell, with Rubin, and follow-ons to scale into effectively a $3 to $4 trillion AI infrastructure. He also noted that the top 4 hyperscalers have already doubled their capital expenditures to $600 billion annually, and NVIDIA's share of the gigawatt scale AI factories is about 35%. Huang dismissed concerns of competition from custom AI chips, saying that the GPU will not be displaced in the stack, while emphasizing NVIDIA's full stack solutions with dominance across computer software and networking layers. Quote, we're, really a holistic full stack solution for AI factories, end quote. Huang concluded the call that saying opportunity ahead is, quote, immense, and the AI race is on, with this new revolution just getting started. NVIDIA released its second quarter results on Wednesday and was a beat on the top and the bottom line and a guide higher. Now, let's see. We already read that. Here, let's dive into some more analysis from some of the analysts that cover NVIDIA. Wedbush's Dan Ives said the results and outlook reaffirm NVIDIA's leadership in AI infrastructure. I don't think anyone doubted that, to be honest. Quote, this is a robust quarter and guide from NVIDIA, especially when considering it's not factoring in the the China H20 revs. Demand is massive for NVIDIA AI chips, and it is not slowing down. We already talked about Gene here. In the post-earnings video, Munster noted that the adjusted guidance beat Whisper numbers and highlighted CEO Jensen Huang's comments suggesting NVIDIA's China business could eventually represent a $50 billion annually and grow at 50%. He thinks that he could sell fully into China. This would be $50 billion a year business for them, and they're going to do about $250 billion next year. Quote, my read is China's probably growing a little bit faster than the rest of the world, but Jensen thinks that they're going to grow next year between 40 and 50%. That's a pretty big jump, and something really doesn't jive here, because when you look at it from that perspective, that's further evidence that the stock could be up. Talked a little bit about Jim Cramer and his dog, NVIDIA, super cute dog, and all that. Own it, don't trade it was really the bottom line to that. Okay, now, it wasn't just NVIDIA yesterday. We also had CrowdStrike. I know CrowdStrike is a cybersecurity favorite here, pretty good stock to trade. And we're actually at a pretty compelling level here. So CrowdStrike down on the back of its earnings, down 3.4% here, holding steady at 408. You'll notice that the 200-day moving average is at 408.37. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because if it can hold this level, you have a potential support area to enter this stock on. Furthermore, if it actually dips beneath that 200 and reclaims it, that would also be bullish, especially depending on what that candle looks like. Let me go back here. CrowdStrike beat Q2 earnings estimates. Soft revenue guidance weighs on the shares, however. CrowdStrike reported its second quarter revenue of $1.17 billion, beating analyst estimates of $1.15 billion. The company reported second quarter adjusted earnings of 93 cents per share, beating estimates of 83 cents per share. Total revenue was up 21% year over year in the second quarter, and subscription revenue grew 21% to $1.1 billion. Annual recurring revenue increased 20% year over year to $4.6 billion. And after the company added $221.1 million of net new ARR in the quarter. Net cash generated from operations was $332.8 million, and free cash flow came in at $283.6 million. CrowdStrike ended the quarter with $4.97 billion in cash. Quote, with reacceleration a quarter ahead of our expectations, CrowdStrike delivered an exceptional Q2, record Q2 net new ARR of $221 million, over 1,000 Flex customers, and more than 100 reflexes highlight CrowdStrike's as the leader in cybersecurity consolidation. That comes from George Kurtz, founder and CEO of CrowdStrike. Quote, as AI transforms the enterprise, CrowdStrike enables organizations to confidently embrace their AI future from development to deployment, from cloud to endpoint, and from human to agent. CrowdStrike expects third quarter revenue to be between $1.208 billion and $1.218 billion versus the estimates of $1.228. That's the soft guide that's likely sinking CrowdStrike here today. The cybersecurity company anticipates third quarter adjusted earnings of 93 cents to 95 cents versus the estimate of 91 cents per share. CrowdStrike now expects full year revenue of $4.749 billion to $4.805 billion versus the prior guide of 4.7 to 4.81. Analysts are looking for full year revenue of 4.784. The company also raised its full year adjusted earnings guidance from a range of 3.44 to 3.56 per share to a new range of 3.6 to 3.72 per share versus the 3.52 estimate. So that's a little bit higher there. CrowdStrike announced plans to acquire real-time telemetry pipeline management company Onum. Terms of the deal were not disclosed. So again, CrowdStrike down here to the 200-day moving average. It's doing its absolute best to hold on. I'm curious here from the group to see, is anyone trading this? Right? Is anyone looking to enter here? Pretty stiff support level here. I'd be curious to know if anyone's looking at this. I will definitely look at this out of the open here. We'll see how this ends up trading, but wouldn't be surprised if it held this level here. We'll see what the opening print gives us. All right, now got some more stuff to talk about here. I know NVIDIA really kind of dominated the news headlines, but here's the true telling. Traders are not hedging for a pullback. This is something that we've discussed quite a bit, and I'd be curious to know if any of you are hedging or even just buying downside instruments for a potential trade here. Instead, they're selling volatility doubling down on the view that this market will keep trending calmly higher. VIX shorts hit multi-year extremes. Speculators have now built the largest net short position on the CBOE Volatility Index futures since 2022, signaling a broad market belief that volatility will stay low. How many of you agree with that, out of curiosity? According to the latest Commitment of Traders report, non-commercial traders held net short positions of minus 92,787 VIX futures contracts as of August 19. This is the most aggressive bet against volatility in nearly 3 years. Cam says, I believe it. Big Bear Hug says, oh, yes. Drilling deeper, short VIX contracts have ballooned to 198,380 contracts, a level not seen since February of 2021. Just 4 months ago in May, that figure was down to 59,248. Almost looks like a quadruple there, the lowest since early of 2012. Meanwhile, long positions have remained relatively stable at 105,593, flat from mid-April and July levels. The sharp buildup means speculators are positioning for smooth sailing ahead at exactly the moment when seasonal and event-driven risks are piling up. Now, we've talked a lot about this. Can NVIDIA's earnings be a market catalyst? The most immediate catalyst that could disrupt the low volatility narrative are those NVIDIA second quarter earnings. The chipmaker is now the single most important company in the world by influence, boasting a $4.4 trillion market cap. If NVIDIA misses expectations or disappoints with its guidance, its fall alone, could spark a domino effect across the tech sector and broader markets. We have the benefit of knowing what that report is, beat on the top and bottom line and a guidance raise, but the stock is still moving down, at least so far. This is why it's going to be really important to see how that stock finishes up here today. And I'm also going to be watching some of the unusual options on this because I really do want to see where option traders are positioning themselves for this. Given NVIDIA's outsized role in driving recent gains, particularly in AI-related sectors, a negative surprise could unwind part of the broader rally since April. Now, what's interesting here is that initially, right after this print, Apple traded up. I'm looking at some other AI stocks. NBIS here, this actually looks like it traded down on the back of that earnings, although it's making a recovery. So again, it's going to be interesting to see if the entire market recovers, if it's individual names that recovers, and I'm sure we're going to be paying attention to NVIDIA the most here today. As noted earlier in the open, Intel, the only chip that was higher here earlier in the pre-market. Don't forget, though, September is the worst month for stocks. Even if NVIDIA clears the earnings bar, seasonality presents another threat. September has long held the title as the worst performing month for equities. Over the last 10 years, the S&P 500 has averaged a loss of 1.96% in September. By the way, September starts on Tuesday. Don't forget, with September 2022 ranking as the second worst month of the past decade, only behind March of 2020. We all remember what happened then. That actually ended up being one of the greatest buy opportunities of my entire lifetime. Stretch the look back to 30 years, and September still stands out, with the S&P delivering an average return of minus 0.65%, the weakest of any calendar month. Now, the VIX traditionally loves September. If stocks tend to suffer, the VIX tends to shine. The so-called fear gauge has posted average gains of 5.6%, 8.32%, and 8.22% over the past 10, 20, and 30 years, respectively, during the month of September. The standout? September 2008, when the collapse of Lehman Brothers sent the VIX soaring 91% in a single month. But if you don't have to go back that far to find elevated VIX moves. In each of the past 4 Septembers, the VIX has posted double-digit gains of 40.3, 22.2, 29.1, and 11.39%, respectively. Now, folks, I know that we've got GDP data and jobless claims coming up here, so I'm going to keep my eye on that. I'm sure the producer will also help put that data in the chat, so if I get to it a little bit late, we should be all right there. With short VIX positions near record highs and historical patterns flashing red, the risk of a short squeeze has rarely been higher. A sharp spike in the VIX triggered by NVIDIA, economic data, or geopolitical tensions could force those holding short positions to cover quickly, exacerbating market volatility in the process. And that's the paradox. The more confident traders are in market calm, the greater the risk becomes. The greater the risk becomes if something or anything goes wrong. Easy for me to say. Sorry about that. Okay, now before we get to, and I did want to cover the space, but let's see if that data is out. Yeah, the producer is always on. That's why we have him here. He's absolutely amazing. Good morning, Zoo. It's great to see you. Nestor, Brandy, James, anyone else that I missed. Good morning. I'm glad to have all of you here. Let's take a look at some of that data. It is out. Go ahead and share pro here. U.S. GDP quarter over quarter for Q2 was plus 3.3%. That's versus the 3% estimate. That number a little bit higher than estimate. U.S. core PCE prices for Q2, 2.5 versus the 2.5 estimate. So that is in line here. S&P futures relatively unchanged here at just about unchanged. It's actually down 0.02% here in the pre-market. So that print out of the way doesn't look like it's having a huge effect, kind of a nothing burger so far here. All right, let's go back to the story here about Starship. I thought 13 did a really good job breaking this down yesterday. Kudos to him. Well, we actually gave him a victory lap in the happy hour yesterday. This is a theme that he had been on from the very beginning. He's actually helped me make money on this theme as well as making money himself. And I am pretty sure that he's helped a lot of chat members here also make some money on those calls. So big time round of applause for 13 for being on top of this. Space-themed ETFs are surging, fueled by the commercial launch advances and renewed investor demand. The Procure Space ETF, or UFO, and you know what? We actually ought to take a look at this. We did this in happy hour yesterday. Tell you what, I know ETFs sometimes sound boring. If we just zoom out and take a look at this, look at what a year this thing had. All right, so started the year about 22, actually hit a low of 18, and here we are just absolutely marching higher, 33 and a half. Huge move here for UFO. It's basically vertical, and you normally don't see that with ETF. So this one, if you took a conservative approach and went with the ETF instead of some individual names, you still did quite well. The Procure Space ETF, or UFO, is tied to the S Network Space Index. And it hit a 52-week high and is up nearly 89% from its lows, as we just showed there. The increase coincided with the successful August 26 launch test flight of SpaceX's giant Starship rocket, the vehicle's first successful payload delivery of 8 dummy Starlink satellites after a series of test failures earlier this year. Another tailwind is IPO activity coming back to the industry. After years of SPAC domineering and funding deserts, 2025 has witnessed traditional listings getting traction back. Carmen Holdings, ticker KRMN, which is not one that we follow enough, I feel like. That became public in February, surging to $7 billion in valuation at present. Voyager, which we all know about that disaster, soon followed. And then Firefly Aerospace, ticker FLY, also listed on the NASDAQ after its successful landing of its Blue Ghost lunar lander. This new deal flow marks increasing investor demand for space innovation. Now, we do have a couple of ETFs here. We focused mostly on UFO, but we also have the ARC Space Exploration and Innovation ETF. I know Kathy's kind of got a little hot and cold feelings or people feel hot or cold on Kathy. There didn't seem to be much of a middle ground, but that's ARKX. We also have Spear Alpha, which is SPRX. It's wider innovation fund with space investments among space age tech. And then we also have S&P 500's S&P Kensho Financial Frontiers. Ticker there is RQKT. Let me make sure. I can't see on this this monitor there. ROKT, excuse me. I got to replace this monitor. I can't read half of it. ROKT, that tracks frontier technologies related to space and deep sea exploration. As space technologies move out of niches to the mainstream, investors seek diversified plays that capture growth stories as well as defense tailwinds. The ETFs provide access to firms that may gain from a series of satellite launches, moon missions, and defense contracts, and even potential Mars-era ambitions. Although volatility is still prevalent, the combination of factors such as technological milestones, government support, and market excitement are providing the space sector with liftoff. Really good closing line there to the group. Okay, that's it. That's all I really have here for some of the news. You know what that means? It's only 7:35. 13 is probably still in bed or doing research. So that means we're going to have extended ticker time here today. Let me know what tickers you folks want to take a look at, and hold off on the movers, guys. We're going to be, of course, doing that. We have a segment really reserved for that. Glass half full wanted to take a look at Tesla and Meta. We can absolutely do that. Here's Tesla. We've been talking a lot about this recently, and I'll be honest with you. Our levels have been pretty juicy. This 350 to 360 area that we have been talking about really since we've been jostling around the 200-day is now coming into play. It looked like we were going to test 360 here. Now we're right below 350. If we look inside at Tesla, you can see exactly what it's been doing around this around this price level. And here we go. This is the area that we want to clear out. So as far as key levels here, to me, 350 really kind of stands out like a sore thumb today. If we go back to the daily chart and we take a look, we're actually a good amount away from that 20-day, 331. I suspect that this would probably find support closer to this 338, 339 area before we even get down there to test the 20-day moving average. So let's hope here for Tesla bulls and really for market bulls in general. Let's hope for a break of 350. By the way, S&P futures now seemingly ticking up here on slightly higher volume. We're now positive by 0.02%. So we'll see if that's foreshadowing here for the rest of the market day. Now, as far as Tesla goes, I don't think we had. We did have news here, and this is actually, I think, why Tesla sold off here this morning. Elon Musk's Tesla struggles to retain EV market share. BYD surges over 200% in July in Europe. I'm not sure that that's actually going to hold up. We'll see. Europeans have different feelings about their cars than us Americans. I don't think BYD is going to land in the United States really ever. I don't think it's going to hit with the consumer. But we'll see what it does here in Europe. It is worth noting that Tesla sold off on that, as I was alluding to earlier here in the pre-market. This is when we actually got that piece of news. But take a look. Not only did we get that all bought back up, but now we're actually pushing towards the pre-market high. So sure looks like Tesla here, at least in the pre-market, looks fairly bullish. Now, the other stock that you wanted to look at, was Meta. Let's take a look at Meta here real quick. Here is that Meta chart. We actually didn't get a great move on that 755 call yesterday, but still holding in there. Your key levels on Meta, this one's pretty easy here today. That 763, that's going to be your 20-day moving average. It's actually 762.96, but 763 just for the purpose of rounding. We would definitely want to recapture that. If we think Meta is going to go higher here, maybe finally test that $800 level, that 20-day moving average is absolutely going to be the first key level to recapture. And on the flip side here, the 734 level, this actually coincides with the recent low that Meta bounced from. So if we move back down here, let's see if we get another bounce like we did the last time Meta hit its 50-day moving average. Beneath that, we actually have a trend line that I'm going to extend because I suspect that if we do have a market sell-off in September, this trend line is probably going to come into play. Uncertain if we start seeing positioning for that today. That's one of the things I'm sure we're going to be looking for. But this trend line also should produce some pretty decent support for Meta. Cam says, you think the like button is getting smashed? I wonder. I mean, we have, I know that the Twitter and Twitch viewers cannot smash the like button, but we have nearly 400 people here from YouTube, 350 people here from YouTube. There should be a ton of likes on this. Please hit that button. Help us exploit the algorithm. Help us add more really good observant traders to our community here so we can keep expanding that. Okay. James, you wanted to take a look at App and Hood. App, that's going for all-time highs, isn't it? I know Lion Atlas has been extremely thrilled with App recently. I think Yassine has been trading this as well. Here you go. The key level here also really kind of stands out like a sore thumb on APP App. Really, it's going to be 475. This is a recent double top here. The 20-day moving average is down there at 432.84 or about 433. To me, it sure looks like App wants to move higher here, take out this recent high, and then set its sights on the next level higher here, 524. I do expect some resistance around the round number if we do make a push for that. But App loving here, absolutely getting it done. RSI, not quite. It's at the high end of the range here, but it's not quite overbought. And we've seen that this RSI can stay high for quite some time. So let's see if it has the strength to push over this high. If it does, I think it probably moves towards that 527 to try and test that. That'd be my guess here. Let's see what we have here for earnings. Okay, so they reported at the beginning of August. Oh, that's right. And they don't report again till November. So we're in the clear here. Looks pretty good. You know what? Let's actually, I didn't have this logged in. That was stupid. Shoot. And I have to go look it up. Shoot. I was going to take a look at the seasonality, but I don't have my tool ready. So I can't do that until I get some help here. But I will do that for us. Okay, you also want to take a look at Hood. Let's do that. Here is Robinhood, and we've really kind of been in this wedge for some time. Recently, we've broken out of it here. To me, it sure looks like this test of 100 is absolutely coming probably today. We're at 104.37 today, so we're up about 1.4% here in the pre-market. Let's see what happens here on Hood. To me, breaking out of this upward sloping trend line, I really do think the 50-day moving average is next. That also coincides with the round 100 number. So we'll see if we get a test there on Hood or if we get a bounce back into this channel. If we do get a bounce back into this channel, I got to think that the top is probably going to be right around this trend line. So I'm going to go ahead and extend that a little bit here. And then I'm going to estimate that. I would say your top is probably 120 to 124 here on Hood. Okay. IREN, CCL. Yes, Cam, we are on Twitch. We broadcast to Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. Izzy saying that there's Teva news. We can kind of bump that up the list here and take a look at it. Teva up by 3.5% here, and most notably above that 1825 key resistance level that we have been flirting with. Be really interesting to see if we can close above this level and maybe finally push away. We tried to do this at August 22nd? Yeah, we got our first, August 21st. We got our first close above that line, but really kind of came back in right away. Let's see what the news here is on Teva. Teva announces FDA approval and launch of generic Sanexta in tirzepatide injection, the first generic GLP indicated for weight loss. Interesting. So we got an FDA-approved GLP injection for weight loss here. Izzy, let me ask you, this does feel like huge news. I completely agree with you. I almost would have expected for this to be up higher. I think Teva might be on watch here for a trade. Actually, it is literally, it's climbing as we're speaking now, above 4% higher here this morning. Izzy, good mention here on this one. Come on. Good mention here on this one. Let's put this on our radar here for today. And you know what else, Izzy? We really ought to watch what some of the options do on this name here today. Didn't someone call a large Teva options sweep either earlier this week or last week? Maybe I'm mixing that up with something else. I could have sworn someone mentioned Teva in terms of its options, and now we're getting this FDA approval. So if that's the case, really feels like somebody knew something here. Good mention here, Izzy. This is good. this is really good. Let's keep Teva. In fact, let me add this to my note sheet here so that I don't forget about it, because you guys know I sometimes get sidetracked. Really good mention, Izzy. A really good mention on that news. Very timely as well. Okay, Arthi wanted to take a look at IREN. Let's do that. IREN. Here is IREN. This has been on a massive run for us. I feel like there was one day where we traded this one off the scanner. Now, earnings are today after the market closes. I don't have any idea what these earnings should be, or if there's a chance that this thing's going to beat or anything like that. Remember recently, I think we actually talked about it on this day. This would have been Monday, August 25th. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we covered this. IREN purchases 4,200 NVIDIA Blackwell GPUs and secures financing for its AI cloud expanded to 8.5K GPUs. Gotta think, given the bullish outlook here on AI and data centers and AI cloud and all of that. I mean, we saw Snow report really good earnings as well. I gotta think that this is probably primed to go higher. Again, I don't have any positions, so I haven't put my money where my mouth is. This thing has been on a huge run. It's really kind of run into earnings. This is a tough one. Arthi, let me know, are you trying to trade this for the earnings print? Is this something that you've had for a long time? Marty, it looks like you're interested in this as well. Let me know. Are you guys already in this, or are you looking for a new trade because of the binary event here tonight? Nathan's saying, IREN, the stock is predicted to go to 300. Whose prediction is that? Samel's asking if IREN's volume is low. It averages 24.3 million shares a day, Samel. So, I mean, it's not like astronomically high or anything, but that should be plenty for us to trade here. Should be plenty for us to trade here, even for some of those short-term trades. God, I'm sorry. I don't know why the cat's got my tongue this morning. Let's see what else you guys are taking a look at here. Can you give an assessment on Apple, says Cam? Yes, I can. Actually, this is a really good segue here because I opened a new swing long yesterday on Apple, bought Apple calls. I am in the September 235 calls. Couple of reasons here. Number one, first of all, we're going to start on the daily chart. The chart absolutely looks good. Now, I admit I'm trying to front run the break of this 233 resistance area. Remember, the last time we talked about a really solid Apple trade was a break above 215. And we talked about the targets being the 200-day at right around 221. I think it was 222 at the time. And then also 233. Well, we went right to that target. We went right to both targets because we stopped at the 200-day before blowing through it the next day. We actually went to both of those targets. We pulled back here, kind of tested the 20-day, really didn't even break down, had really no look like we were going right to the 200-day. To me, it sure seems like we're going to retest this 233, and I would be entirely unsurprised if we peaked above. So what did I do? I bought the 235 calls. I'm really hoping that we break this, go to 235, or maybe even above 235. So I am long Apple for a short-term swing. This is not a day trade. This is a short-term swing. The other thing that I thought was notable about Apple, this is when we got NVIDIA's earnings report. So it actually had a pretty decent day yesterday. It's actually had a good couple of days here. But right when we got NVIDIA's earnings report and it started selling off, Apple did the opposite. It traded up. It actually resolved higher in the after hours yesterday, popped higher in the pre-market today, although it's come back to those after hour levels. So Cam, I do have my money where my mouth is on this one. I am long the Apple September 235 calls. I'm looking for a test and break of the 233 upside level that we had on Apple. Okay, so we'll see here. I would love for the entire market to just go green. NVIDIA just go red to green, start trading higher, bring the rest of tech, the indices, get everyone loaded up on good vibes, send Apple higher. Maybe we can even close that trade for a gain here today. That would be sick. Oh, thank you, Nathan. It was Eric Jackson that predicted 300. That's the same guy that's on, I think, open to 82 or 85, somewhere there in the 80 handle. And Smell, before I forget, are you enjoying the U.S. Open? Because your boy Alcaraz absolutely put on a clinic yesterday in the match that he had. Oh, man, it was target practice for him out there. You're welcome, Cam. Ask and you shall receive. But y'all are in luck now because it's time for 13. Let's bring him on. Here is 13. 13, happy Thursday. Happy hour fantasy draft day to you.
Yeah. I'm not ready, but I will be.
Oh, I have no doubt. I have no doubt. I'm actually surprised you said you're not ready because normally you're born ready. But if you're not, I'm sure you will get there.
No.
Draft.
Other things have been taking the lead, but don't worry. That's what I'm planning to do today is, study at the last moment, just like we did in college. So
yeah, yep. I am a procrastinator. Procrastinator. I do that too. Cramming. Yep, that's just how it goes.
And hello, everybody in the chat. Good morning.
They were waiting for you, man. Cam gave you shout outs before you even rolled out of bed here today.
Hey, Cam.
We're going to have a great one here. Okay. And then really quick here, Kenneth, this is a really good question here. And I'm not sure that I've focused on this. Kenneth says, how far out in number of days do you typically use for short swings? So Kenneth, really, really good question, but this actually has a two-part answer. It depends on the instrument. If I am buying stock, I would consider my short-term swing to be anywhere from a week to 2 months. Now, I know that's kind of a big range there, but really a lot depends on the trade setup. Is it a technical setup? Is it something short squeeze related? Was there a news catalyst there? Is it on the back of an earnings? Are we running into an earnings print that maybe I don't want to be exposed for? So there's a lot there with the stock. It's a little bit easier with the options because when you select an expiry date, you're basically selecting your time frame. Now, when it comes to short-term swings on options, I'm hoping that this trade resolves in a week or maybe even a little bit less. But I want to give myself some extra time in case I'm wrong because I make many mistakes and I am often wrong, and I don't expect to all of a sudden start being right about everything market related. So what I did here is I basically want close to 1 month, and I want the high volume options. So Apple's a little bit different because you still get heavy volume in some of the weekly chains, but I selected the monthly. And yesterday I'm looking at the September contract and I'm figuring, well, I got 23 days until this expires. The other thing is that this trade, if it's successful, is actually going to kind of buck some of that seasonality trend. Right? We've been talking a lot about September kind of being a weak month. So I would not want to pay extra premium to go out to November or October, which would be the next month there. I don't need to pay for that extra premium. I suspect even if Apple pops and even if the trade works, we might have some pullback here in September. So when it comes to options, it's normally a little bit easier. Generally speaking, I'm looking for 30 days or less. And the reason for that is because I have probably a 1 to 3 week timeline. And I always want a little extra time on the end of the contract so that I'm not right up against expiry. Let me know if that explanation was helpful for you. Okay. 13, you want to do some movers?
Let's do some movers. And I have to front this with apology. I was having a little bit of a trouble this morning, and I didn't get to dive as deeply as I'd like to into some of these, but it is what it is. I'll try to do my best. So just want to put that out.
And the other thing is that I can actually go through some of them. I can actually soak up some time here if you have just a little bit of research to do. Let's take a look at the list here. The only one I'm familiar with here so far is Telomere. So maybe I should just start with that.
Sure, we can start with that one.
And it might just give you a little extra time to go through what it is that you're looking at here. So we're going to start here with ticker TELO, Telomere. Full disclosure, I do own a little bit of this. It's nothing to get excited about. It's just a couple of hundred shares. I had initially bought 100 shares of this, I think in a $4 handle just to kind of track it. And of course, traded down to like $1.50. And I just added a little bit more because it was $150. Added another 100 shares. No big deal. $150. Not going to break the bank. We did have a recent pop here on Telomere where it basically bled all the way back. So if we start here with the daily chart, here was that last pop that we had. This was at the end of July. In fact, we got up to about 313. And right after that, it gave back all of those gains. And in fact, if we zoom out a little bit more, take a look. Every time this stock pops, it tends to give some of its gains back. So, what's it popping on here today? Glad you asked, folks. Telomere Pharmaceuticals reports in vitro data supporting the potential of telomere 1 as a first in class epigenetic therapy influencing DNA methylation pathways in cancer, aging, and age-related diseases. So you're getting positive data here supporting one of its drugs. This popped the stock immediately. We're actually already pulling back from some of those highs. We got this news yesterday. We popped in the after hours. We actually went higher here. About 240 stopped us today. We've come back. Now, looking at the intraday chart here, just like we saw yesterday, this is basically back down just like we saw yesterday on some of those movers. We really want to capture the VWAP. The good news here, though, is that telomere has come back into this intraday support level, let's call it, where it really kind of traded sideways yesterday. So perhaps this is an area where we could actually buy this for an upside move. We'd really want to see this recapture 211. A quick look around the horn here on telomere. 4.78% of the float is shorted, and that comes on 2.82 days to cover. That days to cover comes on an average volume of 3.27 million, and today we've traded over 26 million. I don't think you're going to have any trouble trading this as long as the volume stays around. If the volume starts to compress and telomere continues to leak, maybe it gets down to one of those load zones, but I think you can be a little bit more conservative if that's the case. Float on this stock is 22.1 million. So 13, I know you've looked into telomere before. I can't remember if you still own it. What do you think about this here today?
Yeah, I still have a little bit of this. This company does need cash. And one of the things that we have observed last time when we did see that big move in July on the 18th, following their, let's see, this was an announcement of positive preclinical data on their, it was for their telomere 1 findings. It apparently had reversed epigenetic gene slicing of STAT1, restoring tumor suppressor in human prostate cancer cells. So, and it was a outperforming chemotherapy in the process. So that sent it up, and then it immediately sold off the rest of the day, started and went down. And then the very next week, I think it was, let's see, we got that news on a Wednesday. Then the very next week, they did an offering. So I think that's something we are going to have to keep in mind, is that they may do another capital raise because they need cash. They have about 500,000 available right now, according to their most recent 10Q. So looking at the chart, I think you covered most of it, so I really don't need to say a whole lot more. We are getting some support from the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. That's going to be in line with the support that we got following the impulse move that we had in the after hours. If we can't reverse here, then this might not be something we would probably want to trade. I think if we do lose that 200 EMA, there's really only one area of support down around 170, and then we're back to where it started in the after hours.
Okay. And 13, that really good observation there about them likely needing cash. I mean, look at the reaction we're already getting here today. It looks like the market is kind of figuring out what you just told us already.
Yeah, they probably do an offering. I don't know if it's today. It's probably be soon though.
Yeah. Okay. Really good stuff there. Next here is going to be CWD. This is Caliber Co. Actually, I can't remember what this company does. Let me go ahead and look it up here real quick. The catalyst here today, Caliber establishes Link Token Digital Asset Treasury. Okay, so this is going to be another altcoin, right? Let's add this to the altcoin treasury watch list here. Plans to buy and stake Chainlink, which is ticker LINK. Day trader Lion, let me know. Is this a good crypto, bad crypto, lukewarm crypto? Where are we at with Link? I've never even heard of it before. For long-term growth. Okay, so that's your catalyst here today. This is up by 77%. The first thing right off the bat here is that we've seen a lot of these treasury catalysts, treasury news catalysts here really pop and then drop the stock. So we really want to be careful of that. If we're going to trade this here, make sure that it's at a support level. Don't try to just chase something because you're likely to get hurt on that. The other thing is that sometimes these are just one-day events. They're not multiple day runners. I know BMNR is kind of the outlier there, but just be careful here. And again, I don't know anything about Link. So if there's something here about Link that we ought to know about, definitely let us know. Quick look around the horn on this one. 9.09% of the float shorted. And that comes on 1 day to cover. That 1 day to cover is on 1.5 million shares of volume. Today, we've traded 61.6 million. Here we go. Day trader, we can always count on you, man. Thank you very much. Link is good. It is involved with digital Swift, like international money exchanges. Okay. Okay, that could have some actual utility. My buddy that lives in London talks about stuff like that all the time. So good stuff here. Float on this on CWD, however, just getting back to CWD. Float on this, a micro float, 686,000 shares in said float. So 13, what do you think here on this one?
Well, I think that this is going to be another one that's going to look to do some kind of offering at some point soon here. The 686,000 shares, I didn't look and see when they did that reverse split, but and I didn't look to see if they had any NASDAQ compliance letters. But this is something that you start to see with when these companies go through this process of reverse splitting and then raising capital. They do need cash. They had a massive earnings miss. You can see for yourself back on August 13th. They reported an EPS miss of $4.15 versus the estimate of negative 94 cents. So big miss there. And that was a negative 415, by the way. So massive miss on EPS.
Not the first time though.
No.
Check this out. Did you see this other one here? This looks like Q4 of 2024. Man, minus 10.2 versus a 4-cent loss estimate. Wild stuff.
Yeah, so they're going to need to raise some capital. Could be today. I don't know when they're going to do it, but if they don't have the capital to do this digital asset strategy, well, they're going to have to get it somehow. I don't think I'd want to be in this when they have to raise. So just be careful with this one. Keep that in mind that they are going to need to do that at some point, unless they get it some other way. I don't know. But for now, it's trading above its VWAP. Seems to have run into a bit of a ceiling around 320. So we'll see if they can push up and through that. Let me look here and see if there's any other levels. So this 320 area is the start of some sideways consolidation going back to about May. You do have the 65 daily EMA in the way as well at 332. And then after that, you get into another area up in the 4 handle around 450, it looks like, where there's another area of consolidation that's built up as well. So a couple of resistance areas to look for if we get up that high, but just be careful with this one.
Okay. Yeah, be careful. The one thing is with this being a micro float, we may see a huge move here. So there might actually be a trade setup, but just understand what it is that you're trading. Be prepared going into that so you're not surprised in a bad way. The next one here is Lion Atlas's. He hasn't told us yet. I'm just going to break some news here. Lion Atlas is actually the CEO of this company, so there might be a conflict of interest. This is ticker LGHL, Lion Group Holding. Of course, I'm kidding about Lion Atlas here. It's just a play on words. This thing's ripping here up 48% in the pre-market. Let's see here. Looks like we had a Form 6 here. And yeah, that's basically it. What was in this? I didn't go through this here. Nothing. Really.
Strategic partnership with Autonomous Holdings and Galaxy Digital Holdings to enhance treasury strategy during Bitcoin Asia 2025.
Okay, so I'm going to throw this. It doesn't mention to advance a digital asset treasury. I'm going to put this on the altcoin until we know which one they're actually going to go for. But seeing kind of another one here, plus 41%. Thank you, 13. Really sharp eyes there, by the way. Negligible short interest on this one. 0.14% of the float shorted on 1 day to cover, and that comes on an average volume of 828,000 shares. Today we traded 8.5 million, floats 22.5 million. What do you think here, 13?
Well, according to this Form 6, it says that their treasury strategy aims to target high potential blockchain ecosystems, including Hyperliquid, which is Hype, Solana, and Sui, thereby gaining exposure to next generation DeFi scalability and Web3 infrastructure. Well, I don't know enough about this company beyond that, except they have 22 million and a half million shares in the float. Let's look at their capital. You can tell that I didn't have time to go through this one. They report, I'm sorry, 2 times a year, so not going to see much out of quarterly. Looks like they continue to lose more and more money as time goes on. Their balance sheet says they have just shy of 17 million right now. That's looking at it on an annual basis. Let me see if that's okay. So that's correct. They're probably gonna have to do a capital raise as well. I don't know how they're gonna pay for this this crypto treasury strategy. Looks like they did just have a resale linked to 600 million in convertible notes, 3 million ADS resale. I don't know what. Okay. Here, see, this is why I needed it. It's sold. Okay, looks like that they also had some other news here earlier on about convertible note offerings and 7 million expanding their treasury reserve of 7 million in crypto purchases. So they have been buying this. It looks like. But let me go to the technicals because I like I said, I haven't looked into this enough. I don't know enough about it to really give you my a good opinion on where they're at with their financials or whatnot. But it seems like they're going to need to raise cash. But let me just pull this up here.
Yeah, and while you're pulling it up here, I'm just going to plug some holes here. So they did already hold SOL. In fact, I had added it to the Solana Treasury watch list already. Day trader, another huge assist here. They're adding SUI. That's great. I actually own SUI. That's one of the altcoins that I do own a little bit of. So I'll take that. I did add them to the other watch list. But I also want to mention something that Brian is saying here. Brian says, as in Brian, is never buying another treasury, especially after some token I've never heard of. Everyone wants to become MSTR so bad. Brian, I feel this, and this is one of the things I'm trying to warn people. I know that sometimes this has the actual catalyst, or excuse me, these stacks have these as catalysts, and sometimes they're the biggest movers. So we really have to cover them, frankly. But I share your opinion here. I'm skeptical on how well this is going to go. Booglog here saying treasury stocks are the new way to invest for at least the next 3 years. I'm not even going to write off that several years down the road, this all comes to fruition somehow. Maybe there's something in here that we can't yet see that's going to end up being beneficial. I won't even write that off. But in the near term here, really do have to be careful with these, Bri. I don't want you or anyone else to get burned on them. So we're going to outline the risks when we talk about them. You can believe that. What else did you have here for us, 13?
Well, it looks like as far as the chart goes, it's come up to the 65 EMA on the daily. That's where it currently is right now, and it's also that area is also right in the middle of a lot of thick bottoming action from the fall down here from April. Been going sideways since then. We're kind of in the middle of all that sideways action right now. There seems to be a bit of resistance up at 310. But if we get beyond that, then the next area of resistance I'd be looking at is going to be just shy of 4, maybe if not 4 exactly. But it could be about 390 to 4, where we get the next area of resistance beyond 310.
Okay. Really good stuff there. LGHL. Good morning, Nikolai. It's good to see you. JG, the man from Snowy River, Jeremy, Jonathan, Market Sniper, Jay Rice, Booglog, thinking about it, and everyone else I missed. Good morning. It is great to have you all here. Next one on the list here is going to be SOGP, and this is one that member of our happy hour was talking about and trading for a long time. He got a couple of his wealthy friends into it, and they made stacks of cash. Unfortunately, I didn't have this one. SOGP Sound Group shares are trading higher following the release of its H1 financial results. Additionally, the company announced it has approved a special cash dividend of 0.005 per share, or $1 per ADS. So it sounds like you're going to get half of a penny per share. Now, American buyers, they're going to have the American depository shares, right? They're going to have the ADS, so they should get $1 per ADS. The way I read that, let me know if I'm wrong about that.
That's the way I understand it, unless I'm wrong.
Okay, a quick look, really quick there, 13. I'll turn it over to you here in a sec.
Sure.
Quick look around the horn. 1.15% of the float shorted. Oh my, wrong click. Way to go, Rhino. 1 day to cover on that, and the average volume on this 645,000 today. We've traded 2 million. Floats 4.3. What do you think, 13?
So I guess one of the things I'd be wondering is if the balance sheet numbers are correct, or if they are in a different currency denomination. Because if they have $441 million, then I don't think they're really needing to raise capital. It seems like they'll be okay for a little while. They do go through a good amount of it every year at this rate. They used to be profitable. They're not anymore. So, this is one that I wish we had, our happy hour friend on, so he could tell us more about this, because I don't remember what he said about this one.
Me either, and I believe this one was this was a China one, right? Worldwide audio-centric social. It leverages broad product portfolio and in-house technologies. Yeah, I can't remember what I remember not taking this because I thought it was too risky. It may be a China name, but here we are.
And that's kind of what I was wondering about, if the numbers are on the balance sheet that we're seeing here in Pro are in dollars or RMB, and they might be in RMB. If that's the case, then they have a lot less cash than I thought. So I really can't speak too much fundamentally on this one, because I don't know how accurate the numbers are. So let me just go to the chart and tell you what I see there. And this one is now trading right above. Nope, we're above that too. So there was a bit of a resistance area at around 440, and we're above that right now. So that's going to be support. The next area of resistance that I see is going to be around 520, 525. And then after that, it's going to be closer to 6, just shy of 6, like 590. Then we have this high back here from July of 689. So those will be the next 3 areas I'd be keeping an eye on if we're going to get more upside here. Otherwise, we're going to want to keep an eye on that 65 EMA on the daily chart. Let me go to a 5-minute, see what else we have here. 65 EMA on the 5-minute is down at 415. So that could be another area of support if the 425 area doesn't kick in first.
Okay. Really good stuff on that. Thinking about it says, is this a sound investment? I see what you did there. Lion says, since I'm the owner and CEO of LGHL, according to Ryan, I can tell you that we still have problems in the company, so be careful. Lion, I appreciate the laugh there. That's good stuff. Okay, next here, one we are all familiar with. Wheeler is back. How many times have we seen this thing on the scanner? It is back again. It popped midday yesterday, popped in the pre-market right up to the same area, and it round tripped it both times. This is ticker WHLR, Wheeler Real Estate Investment Trust. I don't think I have anything yet. Nothing new here today. So it looks like maybe just a relative volume play from the big spike yesterday.
Yeah, because apparently somebody.
Let me see what this is. Hang on.
Whoa. Yeah, apparently this had a. What is this?
All right, that was a street cleaner. I'm sorry if you guys heard that. That was loud AF.
Yeah, hopefully that's clean now. So this Form 3 is probably what it's still kind of moving on. This telling us that somebody took a stake in this, or somebody owns a good, a significant portion. I don't know. I didn't go through this, but that's the only thing I see here is this Form 3. And let me look at the chart here, since this really doesn't make any sense to dive deep into this, because it doesn't really matter. This thing's going to do crazy moves one way or the other. So it's beneath VWAP, and I don't know if we want to draw a trend line, because if we recapture VWAP, we might have an idea of where this goes, and it could come back up to 225 or slightly higher. Wow. But it's getting some support from the 65 EMA on the 5-minute since it recaptured it. That's where it's at right now. So we'll have to wait and see if it can move back up towards VWAP. It seems like it's trying to get above that before we open, but if we don't, then we might have to just be patient and wait for this, or just not even trade it at all.
Okay. All right, good stuff there with Wheeler. We got a couple of things on the docket here today. Uh, Excuse me. Let's see. We didn't do this. AQB. This is Aqua Bounty Text. This popped in the after hours yesterday. It's been bleeding down since then, and it has a trend line that we want to draw here.
Oh yeah.
I know I'm cutting one of those candles off, but YOLO. Let's see what the catalyst was on this here. Looks like they reported. Oh no, that's August 5th. I got no fresh news for this. Nothing. Nothing. All right. Short interest on this name. 2.3% of the float shorted here with 3.43 days to cover. That comes on an average volume of 267,000 shares. Today we've traded 5.5 million and the float's 3.8 million. What do you think on AQB, Aqua Bounty Techs?
Well, something got it excited yesterday. It sent it up to 134 in the after hours, but since then it's just been a staircase down. We do seem to have found some support around $1, so it doesn't want to re-enter Pennyland just yet. It's trying to recapture the VWAP, at least mine that I have on my broker here. That's going to be at 107, 108. They have the 65 EMA at 110. I think that's going to be the next area I'd be looking at for resistance because the area above that at 111, 112, I'd just say 112. That's going to probably end up being one of the breakout spots. That's been support ever since the impulse move in the after hours. We only recently lost that about a little more than an hour ago. No, I'm sorry, a couple hours ago. So, and we've been trying to recapture that same level. So that 112 level looks to be the big resistance area that we need to get back over. And if we don't hit that before we open, I think that's going to be that breakout spot of the trend line you just drew. So 112, big area, AQB.
Okay, good stuff there. 13, as always. Let me ask you, we're kind of getting into the dregs here. Did you have anything else on your list that we did not cover?
No, that was it.
If there's something else from this list that you folks want to cover, we can. I see PD Kate is asking about SciSpark. Sure, we can take a look at this. We've actually looked at this one before, and we've seen a lot of similar performance from this before. Big Dave is saying, any chance we see a rebound off today's news? Yeah, get in there, 13. What do you got?
Oh, no, I was just looking at SPRC that you said we just had this out of nowhere big spike, and then it just came right back down. This was on the merger with Automax?
Yeah. Shareholders approve merger with a leading parallel vehicle importer in Israel, and that is Automax Motors. So here's the thing. So could this, Big Dave? Sure. But I think history tells us that that's probably not likely. We have seen, I mean, we'll take a look at the technicals. We'll follow and pretty much only add its support areas. But look, every other time that this stock has these big outsized spikes, it really doesn't hold up. It comes back in, and then eventually it ends up resolving lower. So here's the thing. I would not hold out hope. Hope is never a good part of a trading plan. If it dictates that this is down at a support level and we start seeing buying volume flowing in, things of that nature, sure. But I don't know. History's not been kind to this stock, and I would probably avoid this one. What say you, 13?
This is a clinical stage pharmaceutical company. What are they doing with the electric vehicle market? I guess would be my first question. I'm kind of a little bit confused. And this is the first time we've seen, a company that says they're one thing and they, invest in something else. But it doesn't. I don't see the sense in this right now. Maybe there's something I'm missing, and this is one of the reasons why due diligence is always going to be great when you're trading something. But I don't know what the purpose here for the merger with Automax is when you're.
It's a sham. Jay's going to sum it up for you pretty easy.
Yeah,
it's a sham.
There you go. Okay, so maybe there's not a trade here, but if there is, certainly keep this on your radar. And I think this is just one that you just go to the technicals and avoid looking at the fundamentals, just because it's not going to make any sense, and you'll probably lose your mind trying to figure it out. SPRC trying to get above the 65 EMA on the 5-minute. That seems to have been the area that's having the most difficulty with since it lost it back at 8 a.m. this morning Eastern. So if we can get above that 65 EMA, where it seems that 480 is about the area, then I would look to the VWAP, and that's going to be right in the next area where it did initially find some support before it lost it. So every single one of these little staircases where the price dropped down, went sideways for a bit, and then it went lower, those are all going to be resistance areas to the upside. Every single one of them. So after the VWAP, you're going to have 530, and then you're going to have looks like 570, and then you could even put in 590 in there if you want, all the way up to looks like 660 would be the one after that, if not 616 first.
Okay, good breakdown there. It looks like Griffin Digital Mining. We've got new. Oh, this is just rehashed news about Trump. Remember, this is, I think, Trump's son's American Bitcoin locks in investor for Nasdaq bond merger. This Griffin here, this is the one that some of the Trumps are in. Looks like it's moving here on no news, but that is moving. There is something I did want to cover. ONDS, baby.
Oh, man.
So let's see if it's in the news feed here. It's not. I'm pleased to report that Ondas was a Steve Grasso pick yesterday on Fast Money. So when they do their final trade segment, I've never seen one of these micro caps that I own before they do appear on the final trade. ONDS was your final trade for Steve Grasso yesterday on Fast Money. Remember, they also appointed Mark Green as the head of global corporate development and M&A yesterday. More things are rumbling here on Ondas. It's up another 5% here today. Giddy up. We'll take it. We'll see if we go and take out 550 here. I don't have any sell plans right now because I've sold enough to really kind of raise cash and lock in gains. But really, really encouraging. And Zach here mentioning that Vanguard disclosed that they bought more Ondas.
And that means Ryan was one of the earliest ones.
That's right.
Earlier than some of these big names that can move.
That's right. Around. That's right. Thinking about it here is going to try and poke me in the ribs and give me a jab. Ondas, a new stock pick from Ryan. Thinking about it, I admit so often when I make bad trades, when I've got a good one that's absolutely booming and there are a bunch of people benefiting from it, you are damn right I'm going to keep talking about that. Hopefully I don't annoy you, but hopefully we're all making some money off of this. Really, really good stuff. Bless you, 13.
No, that was a cough, but thank you.
What are you supposed to say for a cough?
Shut up.
Bless you, 13. Okay, cool. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at any other stocks that you folks want. 13, was there anyone that you wanted to start with?
Nah.
We could otherwise just kind of go to the group.
Let's go to the group. I want to know what they want to see.
Okay. Ed, I'm just going to start with ENPH. That's the first ticker I saw. No shade to anyone else. ENPH, what's going on here? We're up 1.9%. I guess my only question here is, did this stock bottom, right? This stock has just continued to be weak. Has it really bottomed here? Did we have any news on this recently? We've got some news here today, as a matter of fact. Enphase Energy announces availability of software to expand the IQ7 solar system with the IQB microinverters in more global markets. Okay, I'm not a solar expert, so I'm not quite sure what that is.
The inverters, my understanding is that they're used to take solar energy and convert it into electrical.
Yeah, no. Okay, so this is basically just a more efficient inverter to built for high power solar cells. So this is basically allowing you to generate more energy from your existing solar system.
Okay, that's great.
That does seem like good news here.
Let's see, Enphase.
Yeah, here we go. Enphase's new expansion capability with the IQ8 microinverters and batteries is great for our customers seeking to enhance their energy savings and reduce their carbon footprint. It gives customers a clear, efficient pathway to easily scale their solar as their energy use grows without needing a complete system overhaul. So this is actually pretty good. This is actually pretty good news, I would say. Maybe this will turn things around. I don't know though. Enphase has really been hurting recently. I still go back to what I'm saying here. Has this thing bottomed? We are above the 20. We are above the 50. We really want to hold that 37 here. I don't know if it moves off this news here today, but seems good nonetheless. What do you have, 13?
I think that's important that we've been closing above the 50-day SMA, because we've got 3 closes above that now, actually 4 as of yesterday. And if you look backwards, you'll notice that we have not done that since September of last year. So I think this is a significant change here in the chart, and something that I don't think we should just ignore. If we can continue to hold above this 50-day SMA, I think we can. We'd be looking at a move over 40 pretty soon. We have some resistance coming up at around at 40. So if we can push up and through that, I think we're facing a bit of a turnaround here. There's different levels to look toward the upside after 40. Certainly you have 43.25. That looks to be another area, but that's still a few bucks away from 40. So we'll see if we can even get back up there first. But that's what I'm seeing so far. It looks like it's starting to turn around. You might be right about this bottoming, because those closes over the 50-day SMA, pretty significant in my opinion.
Okay, that's Enphase. Izzy, Steve Grasso is a greaseball, Ryan. He pumped PSFE for triple 5 times under 3, lost a ton years ago. I'm not familiar with that trade. I actually know somebody who says really good things about Steve, and I trust this person implicitly. I've never really been burned. He seems really sharp. I don't have the same opinion of Steve, but removing his name from the conversation, the fact that Ondas, not long ago a 70-cent penny stock, is now being mentioned on Fast Money as a final trade, bro, there's no other way I can take that other than positive. Just none. I mean, okay, if Kramer was out here yelling buy, maybe I'd have a little bit more of a laugh about that.
Oh, cut my position in half.
And possibly agree with you. But the fact that I'm seeing it on Fast Money, great. And the Vanguard buy there or addition there, also pretty great. And hey, you know what? Ondas rocks. If that's true, broken clock is right twice a day, right? Either way, to me, definitely encouraging to see, and I would love to see it continue to trade up here today. Okay, what else do we want to do here?
We're getting a move here in SPRC. It's trying to, it's back above the 65 EMA. It just started to move a little bit there. I also noticed that some folks were mentioning telomere. That started to get above its VWAP, at least my VWAP. That's getting some movement as well. So some of these names starting to show some signs of life here. SGOP, that seems to be in an area right now trying to push into the 5 handle, where it's been struggling to get into all pre-market. No closes above 5 quite yet. Yeah, a lot of these names are starting to turn up here. So watch for some volume expansion. Take your pick. A lot of these names are basically junk anyway. So just don't overstay your welcome. But if a trade sets up that you like, don't let me stop you from taking it. Just make sure you're protected.
Okay. PSTG, Kathy, this is a great suggestion. We'll do this one next. Izzy here says, Ryan, you are smarter than Steve. Boy, that's a really low bar. Is it? I'm sorry. I have to laugh at myself. I appreciate that, Izzy. That's very nice. And here's the other thing. Those traders that are on Fast Money, they're all wrong from time to time. It is what it is. I'm still happy that it was on CNBC and Fast Money. That's awesome. Okay, Pure Storage here. Pure Storage shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q2 financial results, issued Q3 sales guidance above estimates, and raised full year 26 sales guidance above estimates. This thing is in cloud storage. Data centers is absolutely helping this. Huge pop here. Stock's up 15%. This is actually one where the option buyers won. Yeah, options were implying a 9.1% move. We've got 15.3 here today, so you're going to have a bunch of people ringing the register on this name. The other thing here is that this big pop pretty much takes us to 70. I really think that 73.5 is going to be one of your breakout spots. We'll see if we end up getting it. That would be a new all-time high for Pure Storage. On the back of this print, I would be entirely unshocked if it ran to that area. Let's actually take a look at the short interest, because I'm pretty sure. Yeah. In 2023, this thing actually did have, because I've traded this before, 2023, this thing did have some pretty significant short interest. It's really kind of come down to a more average level right now. 4.1% of the float shorted. It does have 5.42 days to cover, and that does come on 2.5 million shares. So we'll see if maybe we do get a little bit of an extension here as shorts rush to cover, but there's not a ton of them, so let's not get overly excited about that. Float here, 263 million, just thereabout. 13, you got anything here on PSTG for Kathy?
I think you know what I'm going to say.
Offering coming, they need cash? Oh, okay.
Draw a trend line.
Now, down or up?
Now, if so, you can start with that June 2024 high and draw it through the January 2025 high. Now, this, I'm not suggesting that we're going to go here today. This is just kind of like a target if we do trade higher. I'm thinking that this $70 area, this looks to be a big area of resistance to me. So I don't know if this is going to, how much higher this is going to go. But let's say that we start to break out into new all-time highs. Where does this thing go? I think it's going to end up touching this trend line. If we go higher than the January highs, I think that this trend line may indicate where that high is going to be. And if we get that today, it's going to be about 77.5.
Okay. Hey, I love the trend lines. Respect the trend line. That's a new shirt idea. Respect the trend line, and it should have a trend line connect. Oh, that's so good. Okay, we are open here. 13. I'm going to let the opening print get out of the way here. I'm going to step away to the washroom. I'm going to put CWD up here.
All right, that's taking off right now.
Yeah, we'll see if this breaks the pre-market high. I'll be right back. We got some trading to do.
Yeah, we do. So I guess we could have drawn a trend line here with this one if we want to use some of these pre-market levels. That's going to give us a bit of an indication of where this might run to. So if we do that, it looks like CDWD is going to run up to around 375 before it runs into some really tough resistance, or at least hits the trend line. We're already getting it backing off at 347. So we'll see if this is going to go down further, or if we're going to get another push up to hit that trend line. Meanwhile, LGHL, Line Group Holdings, that's coming down already. Looks like there is going to be some more downside. Maybe you get a little bit of a support coming at 220, but I think we're going to end up hitting the 65 EMA on this one on continued weakness. SOGP, that's making another attempt for 5. Is it going to be able to take it this time? It's very, very spready here. Oh, there we go. It took out 5. SOGP. How high does it go? It looks like we have a pre-market high of 561. Let's see if we can get up there. But this is a very low volume. Not sure how much we're going to get out of this. Float is also pretty low too. And Wheeler is lower. AQB broke out of the trend line that we just drew. Big time break over this trend line. We are coming up to some resistance in the pre-market. Actually, this might be after hours that we're hitting now. The next ceiling is going to be 125. That's where it looks like resistance could come up next if we don't get it right about here.
Which one are you looking at?
That was AQB. We had a break over that trend line, and it was fantastic.
Oh, and I don't have the trend line on here, but you are absolutely right. There you go. We'll see if we back test that trend line. In the meantime, Telomere, which is one that we were taking a look at here, this traded back up to the VWAP and got smacked, now returning to the pre-market lows. Bharat, I saw that you had mentioned earlier, by the way, good morning, Bharat. It's good to see you again. You had mentioned CoreWeave got slapped here. So interestingly enough, CoreWeave did pull back, but right out of the open being bought right back up. Watch 104 for a move higher here on CoreWeave. Izzy wants your thoughts on RR, if you didn't do that while I was away.
Nope. Let's see here. So, I mean, RR, this thing has been on a multi-day run, so it got pretty extended. I'm pretty sure I mentioned something about that yesterday, too, about how the RSI was quite high, but it might have also been a different stock. A lot of these things have been on a crazy run. But if it was this one, because I think it might have been, then we did come down to some support around 3, even though I think 290 might have been the better spot. We still got support around 3, and it's trying to turn around and push higher. I don't know how much upside we're going to get out of this right now. Like I said, the RSI is very extended, but if we are going to get a breakout soon, it's probably going to be. I think I would just kind of draw a trend line here from January 7th to the high from yesterday, and just keep an eye on that. But that 290 area, that's going to be support. So if we lose that, then I think that's probably going to end up coming down lower into the 2 handle. But like
real quick here on RR, they entered into an agreement to sell up to $100 million in stock, and the agreement replaces the prior one and is effective September 12th. So this stock could offer, or excuse me, this company could offer more stock starting on September 12th based on that recent at the money offering.
Okay, so that they launched a new $100 million. Okay, so
correct.
All right. Well, then I'd have to look into that some more, and I don't have the time right now. But it's
all good, dude. You're doing a ton.
But yeah, so I guess the question I would have is, what was the at the money offering? Like, what was the price? Because if it's about where it is right now, then I can understand why it's pushing up. But if it's above it, if it was like higher up, back when these around 615 when the price was higher, or right? No, I'm sorry. No, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but this is.
So that's kind of what I'm wondering is what was the at the money offering price?
They haven't given a price yet. They're preparing the offering. So they entered into an agreement to sell up to $100 million in stock, but they don't have a price picked yet that's what I read. It didn't say the price. Yeah. Is he saying the same thing? Okay, perfect.
Okay. All right.
Still down 4% here. Telomere looking like that might go lower as well.
It's down to the 200 EMA. Needs to get support here, because if it doesn't, then I think we're coming down to $1.70, and we'll probably consider this done for the day.
SOGP might be breaking that pre-market high area. Here is Telomere going right down to that EMA 13 just mentioned.
Yep. SOGP, that was great mention too. That is moving up to the 561 pre-market high. So this is it was telling you all morning, like $5 is a spot. It's tough to get over. We have no closes above it, and then we open and we finally get above it.
Yeah, Telomere kind of rough there, Jane. Sorry about that, but you'll get it back. Bonjour, smoked tuna. I love that we have bonjour, buenos dias, good morning, and guten morgen going on the show here. We got all types of different languages for good morning. I'll take it.
AQB is just on a tear. That trend line was extra crispy.
Absolutely. Way to go. I obviously was in the washroom, did not catch this one. Really good for our group here, though. On this smoking out of the open.
You see strength in AQB crossing 135. Well, I think we got our answer. It's over that right now. This might continue to go up to like 155 to 160. That's where the next area of resistance is. You just look at a chart, look to the left from where we're at right now. That's the next spot that I see. So we're coming up to it. We'll see if we get some backing off when we hit that 155, 160 area.
Lucas, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
There's a large seller that was in the way at 150, but it's kind of broadening out right now, so it might get chewed up. Sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. Lucas says another one, dobro rano. So we're going to fold some Polish in here too. Jak się masz, Lucas? Good. All right. AQB continuing to go. Telomere, maybe it did hold that area. Still be careful here. I don't like it. I still own some of it, but I don't like it. Wheeler, how's Wheeler doing? New high for Ondas, by the way. Wheeler also catching at that 200 EMA.
CDW trying to get some support from its VWAP. Did pop up to 347, and then it backed off. So it's trying to get some support here. Pretty much sideways since about 8:30 this morning in the market. What's up?
LOL, dude. NVIDIA popped green. We were just talking about this maybe going red green. It popped green and immediately came back here. We're down by 0.75% here. I did see some put buys get bought into that. Actually, it looks like there's some call buys too. So options flowing here on NVIDIA. Do you have any thought on what NVIDIA does here today?
SOGP is pushing up higher now. No, I mean, let me look at the stock real quick, and I'll give you my opinion here. So, seems like we got a bit of a resistance area at about 182, which it kind of hit. So I think 182 is going to be the big area for the price to get over. If we can't recapture that, I think downside's ahead.
Okay. NBIS here, by the way, it's not on the list here, but we're kind of watching this on the back of some of these earnings reports and just kind of the AI moves here. Here's what your NBIS chart looks like. This spiked to 73 and a half and came all the way back into about $70. I've got VWAP here at 71 and a half in my broker. It looks like it might make another run here. NBIS, this actually might be a decent day trade here today. Lion here, thank you, Lion, saying NVIDIA looks like it wants to go down some more. The man from Snowy River says NVIDIA might close slightly red here today.
PSTG taken off. We are, I swear, we're going to probably hit that trend line, aren't we? We're gonna hit it. We're about $2 away from hitting that trend line in PSTG.
I'm telling you, respect the trend line.
Well, we've got to hit it first, but we're close.
Well, we're going to keep drawing them, though, because we're doing a really good job getting targets by drawing these. And I think you're absolutely right. We're going to do that.
You're right. We're going to keep drawing them. You're damn right.
Yes, all right. There we go. There we go. 13.
SOGP is coming up to that 561 pre-market high. It's just a few cents shy of that. Let's see. The high that we're currently at right now is 555. So another 6 cents. We're going to be above the pre-market high. Looks like CWD is trying to recover.
All that glitters regarding the on display. I get it. Just and I like that you're small because this stock's been on a huge run. We've seen the stock pull back before. Just know what it is that you're trading there, but good stuff. Don't get yourself hurt on it.
What there was snow. We were getting asked about snow. If we could look at that. Let's see. They reported earnings yesterday, and now they're over. No, they're coming up to some. What is this? It's almost 18-month highs. That consolidation area from February of 2024. That's about where we're at right now, and that's going to be the resistance area. Beyond that, you have some resistance at 240 as well. So there you go. That's snow.
Yeah, that was a pretty good move on earnings there on
Great
snow.
Earnings. Yep. Great earnings report for snow. Looks like Lion Group Holdings has come down to their 65 EMA. If there's going to be a reversal, it's going to probably be here. Otherwise, I would consider this one done if we lose that. And Telomere did lose the 200 EMA. It's trying to find some support beneath it. But this is it still needs to go down to the 170 area, which I was mentioning would be the last area before we can consider this one done. CWD kind of going sideways right now after getting support from VWAP, and Lion Group Holdings just fell right through the 65 EMA. Womp womp.
Womp womp.
AQB trying to getting some support from its VWAP, trying to push higher. We'll see if it can take out 150.
Smoke Tuna mentioning STSS is set up again. This has been a big winner for our group this year, or this week. And actually, yeah, Smoke Tuna, we really want this to get to the VWAP, don't we? And you know what else I'm going to do? Respect the trend line, right? 13. Let me just draw a really quick one here. Oop.
All right.
We'll see.
Looks like we're getting a little bit of support in Telomere, but it's beneath its 200 EMA, so we'll see if we can even recapture that. CWD, this has a seller that's in the way at 313. Might not be able to get through it with its current volume. We'll see if it can chew through it here. If it can't get through it, then it's going to probably end up coming back into 280.
NBIS here, guys. This is going up. This is actually working. Here we go. Right at VWAP right here. I'm going to lighten some of this right here. Raise the stop to 71. Bang. NBIS.
Nice.
Not bad. On that pop, I'll tell you what, that pop, drop, and hold.
There it is. AQB. Sorry to interrupt you.
You're good. You're totally good here. Here we go. NBIS. Let's go, dude.
So AQB hitting a new high of 154. That is right about where we were looking for in terms of resistance. As a matter of fact, that's very, very close. We're looking at 155, 160. Still want to see 160, but if they do have a seller in the way at 155, that might make that difficult.
All That Glitters says, Ryan, what is your VWAP settings? I've been asked this a number of times. I use the VWAP that's in TradingView, and I make no adjustment to the settings. It is all default. I don't change any of these settings at all. And when I use the one in Thinkorswim, I don't change any of those settings either. Yeah, NBIS 72 test coming. Let's go.
Some of these different brokers will have different VWAP settings, and that's their default.
Yeah, and I think it probably also has like different time frames. Like some of the VWAPs might measure if there's 24-hour trading. Others that don't have 24-hour trading might not be including that in the calculation. I think there's a lot of little things like that.
SOGP, that just printed a new high. It just went over the pre-market high. And we are still going lower. I think that one.
You guys are talking about Lumen, Lumn.
CWD down to VWAP. So this is going the direction I was mentioning, but it's getting some support there. Still, this thing needs more volume if it's going to get through these different tranches of sellers. Like there's one right now at 309. That's preventing any upside. After that, you have the 316 seller and then a 325 seller. Lots of different walls of sellers in the way here. We're going to need some more volume in CWD if this is going to go any higher.
So Lumen here, this was a Money Mitch pick. Love to see that working for Mitch. Hope he's doing well. Thinking about it, you bought this one 3 days ago. He's a huge move here on Lumen. Of Enterprise taps Lumen to power its era in sports broadcasting. Company announced its Pac-12 Enterprises will launch a tech-driven remote production model for football season.
Looks like CWD is trying to get some volume going here. It just went back up to 310, but it's getting pushed back down. It really needs to see a lot more volume. Otherwise, I think we're going to lose VWAP here pretty soon. SOGP coming off of that high, possibly consolidating to try and push further. We'll have to see if that's the case. It's got to hold above 5 and VWAP.
Good morning, Brian. Good to see a long OPAD here from this morning. OPAD ripping. It's actually at the high of the pre-market from Tuesday or Wednesday, excuse me. Remember, this $5 area is really what stopped OPAD the last time we were trading it here as a group. NBIS, by the way, pulled back to its VWAP, but so far it's holding.
CWD trying to chew through some of those sellers I was just mentioning, but they're not able to at the moment. But keep an eye on it because it seems like the buyers are getting a little bit aggressive. There's not enough volume though, but just keep an eye on it. You might see a break.
Okay. Oh, is the robot guy? You know what? I actually forgot to do that. Let me see. I'll invite him right now. Jay, good reminder here.
I love that he's called the robot guy. All right, CWD. Here we go. Chewing through some of those sellers. Coming up to another level now. A big area of sellers coming up after this 325 one is going to be at 332. So starting to get the volume that we need in order to get go higher, but it's got a lot of supply to chew through here. LGHL trying to recapture at 65. SOGP putting in new highs. Wheeler trying to reverse. AQB has reversed, put in a reversal candle 5 minutes ago, going beneath its VWAP now, but getting some support from its 9 EMA on the 5 minute. This is also a previously a resistance area, so now that's support. We'll see if it can continue to be support. If it does, we want to see this recapture of the VWAP, and that's what we want to see, really.
Look at OPAD going.
OPAD?
Let me know when you guys, I'm not in this one, but let me know when you guys ring the register on this. We'll start handing out some register rings.
Let's see here.
Is he warning us that the market's going to pull really bad?
So for OPAD, you've got a 495 resistance area. That was resistance back on July 21st. It was resistance back on August 25th, earlier this week. Now We're making our way up towards that same level. We'll see if we can break through it, but I would anticipate that to be some pretty tough resistance. I'm not saying it's not going to go through or get rejected, but but it's just an area that has been already providing some resistance. So let's keep that in mind as it approaches that level.
Okay.
Market's going to pull. Rocket Lab launch complex 3 opening in about 20 minutes. So maybe some momentum here. Nice mention. I think that was where is that complex?
Oh, man.
Is that in Florida or is that in Virginia? Let me know.
The Rocket Lab one?
Yeah.
Isn't that in Florida? I feel like we talked about that before. Maybe I'm misremembering though.
If it is in Florida, then I think that's the one that was previously used for SpaceX, and now it's going to be used for Rocket Lab. I think that's the case because I do remember hearing some news about how the Falcon 9 was going to be moving to a different pad.
Geico Lizard is saying I sold OPAD for like a $20 gain. How does a new trader get over the feeling of missing out? Well, first of all,
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
You understand that there's going to be many more trades out there for you to find and to execute on. This is just but make sure you learned where you think you went wrong, and keep a journal so that you can review your trades, and next time this happens, you take on stay in there for a little bit longer, or you know where your levels are. Make sure you just understand that this is not going to be the last trade you're going to take. You'll have many other opportunities, and sure, it sucks that you missed out on some gains, but you know what? That's going to happen from time to time. We're not looking to capture the very bottom and the very top every time. So as long as you get some good gains and you walk away positive, that's a win.
Yeah, the other thing I would add to this is that, first of all, having a plan so that you're confident in the trade is really going to help you not worry about either losing money or missing out. If you have a plan that you're adhering to, you should be okay. If not, you might feel a little bit on edge there. So I would just say plan the trades out, have a plan for exit and entry, and go from there.
Yeah, just don't beat yourself up over overselling too early. You came away a positive, and then that's a positive.
I love this. Tracy saying also write down your emotions when you make those trades in your journal. So I had talked to you before about how I'm pretty lazy about my journal. I basically just export my trading history, add another column for notes, and add some notes to this. I've actually done what Tracy is suggesting. I've added, I was scared, or I took a big loss the other day and I didn't want to lose. And then I found that I was deviating from my plan because I was letting my emotions take over. All of these things can be very, very helpful. Tracy's comment here is outstanding. And I would advise that you definitely do this and then review how you're feeling when you're taking some of these trades.
Yeah, Tess, and that's kind of what I was asking about, because if this is a new launch
I'm
pad,
sorry.
If there's one that they're just now opening, if I was asking if it was in Florida, because yes, they do have Virginia as part of the U.S. defense industry, and then New Zealand. You're right about that. And then one thing, Mutsinzi was asking, what should one note in their journal? You mentioned that. Mention what you did. What was your reason for entering, and what was your reason for exiting? I think those are some very important aspects you're going to want to mention in your journal. Why did you take the trade? Why did you exit the trade? Because if you look back and you see the reasons why you did that, and the next time you're faced with this situation, that's going to give you some better knowledge of where you went wrong, so you don't do the same thing again. You were feeling this way. You were doing this. The price was reacting this way. The volume was this, that. Mention some things that influence your decision, so that if you need to make a change, you can see what you were thinking and feeling at the time.
Brandon here says, lol, I do exactly that. Copy and paste and add a notes column. Look, work smarter, not harder, right? That was my motto on that. Glad I'm not the only one.
End phase, all of a sudden, big move up.
NVIDIA reversal, and we're pulling here. 176, I think, is going to be the level to watch. I am seeing some put buys flow in here to NVIDIA. Conversely, I'm actually seeing call buys flow in here for Snow. We talked about that, actually reporting some pretty good earnings yesterday. Snow ripping higher here today.
AQB coming back up. It has recaptured its VWAP. It's coming up to this resistance area earlier.
Stopped out of it, the remainder of NBIS. Sorry for interrupting.
No worries.
Still a decent trade, though. 2 for 2 today.
I'm sorry I missed who said it, but I think it was Market Sniper mentioning that SOGP might reverse around 630. So far, that looks like that might be happening here. It hasn't, come down, sold off, but it went up to 639 and is having a hard time going any higher.
Knowledge drop saying Ondis double top. Actually, yes. So far here, double top right at about 550. All right, so here you go. Here you go on this. We are seeing a double top there. Today's not over, though. Nope. And if this breaks 550, it still has the possibility of going higher. Not guaranteeing it, still has the possibility of going higher here.
And here's AQB trying to push higher into that 150 area.
Oh, yeah.
Running into a little bit of resistance. Got a lot of sellers to get through here. So need to see some more volume expansion. Otherwise, we're going to come back in.
Ryan, that's a cool knowledge drop. Hey, I'm just glad we have knowledge drop here with us today. He's out here dropping knowledge with us. Love the eagle and American flag avatar too.
Thank you, Jonathan, for that mention. Home sales in 5 minutes. AQB wants to go.
Sure does. Let's see power candle up to the highs here.
Let's see that 150 break. Come on now. And
now the market did pull here, but it's stopping basically at its daily pivot right here, 646. Ondis, by the way, recaptured the VWAP there. Let's take a look at PSTG because that was one of the big earnings winners here. Smoke Tuna is mentioning that this is going here. Or PSTG really needs that break above 76, doesn't it? Let's see if we can line up a trade on that.
75 has been the big resistance area. No closes over that yet, even though we printed above it. It seems to me like 75 is the area we need to close over, and we need to see a big move up over that. There might even be a trend line we can draw here if we look at the highs from the after hours yesterday, and yeah, so that is a breakout level. So just draw a trend line.
I was going to say, did I hear trend line?
Let's draw a trend line. Yeah.
Easy.
That's a breakout spot to me.
Easy. Intraday high here, 75.68. Eli saying CWD is dead.
It might be. Trading back beneath the VWAP, trying to hold this 280 level, but it's looking like we're going to get some more downside here. Now, I will say that there may be some support coming around 250, but if we lose that 250 support, then I'll be in agreement with you. Then, yeah, that's dead. Got to see that loss. See that loss of the 65 EMA.
I just heard back, bless Mayhem. I just heard back from him. He's still tied up. He's got some stuff that he's doing. I actually did notice he's posting a little bit less. So he is not available today, but it does sound like he will be coming back in the future. So no robot guy today, guys. We'll keep bringing him back though. Love that dude.
Wheeler, it's slow moving, but it's got some good looking green candles here that are recapturing some of these levels. We just need to see if it can hold them. Still looking at resistance around 185 for Wheeler. AQB waiting for this to give its big move up over 150. Enphase is continuing to push a little bit higher, but hasn't printed new session highs yet. Looks like LGHL is trying to turn around here. That's Lion Group Holdings. Looking to recapture the 65 EMA. It's been getting support from the 200 EMA. All right.
There you go, Izzy. Good call on that market poll.
That's right. Cook those numbers or you'll get berated by upper management.
Lion, also good call here on LGHL as the de facto CEO. He said that there was going to be problems. We did go lower here. ACB?
PSTG. We just tried to push through that trend line. We got up to 75.95, new session high. Let's see if we can continue with this here.
Really good call there, PSTG. See if it gets above 76. This is that level I thought was going to be important. There it is.
We're moving higher.
Up above.
Keep going. Where's that baby? She's flying soundboard.
Oh God, where is that? Here, you know what's so funny that you even mentioned that? I watched Twister last night. It was on.
Nice.
Baby, she's flying, man.
There it is. There it is, Dorothy.
Let's go.
CWD is trying to recapture VWAP here. So until we get that loss of the 65 EMA, not really sure I'm gonna consider this done yet. But I do agree that if we lose that 65 EMA, I would be moving on to something else. Trying to recapture this VWAP here. Lots of sideways consolidation in the pre-market at this level. Going to be tough to get through, but I'm not counting it out yet. SOGP kind of coming off of that 639 session high. Wheeler's still trying to negotiate a close over that 65 EMA. AQB trying to figure out if it wants to break over 150 again and take out that 154 session high. And then Enphase trying to figure out its upside as well. Meanwhile, PSTG is getting a little bit of a lift here.
You know what's cool about PSTG?
Tell me.
I'm going to show you. I'm going to do you one better, and I'm going to show you. From now until mid-September, amazingly, we actually have positive seasonality on PSTG. So in addition to the earnings beat here, we actually have pretty good seasonality from here all the way to September 14th. So this actually might work for a swing as well. PSTG.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And
there, boy, we are cooking, folks. We are cooking today.
What's cooking? What's smelling the best in your kitchen?
Andis, but that's no surprise there. Andis reminds me of bacon, honestly. It's just so nice. Rocket actually rebounding here today. Scalped NBIS, that worked.
AQB,
Ideal Powers trading higher. Oh man, let's go, dude. It's about time some of these long-term holds start working.
And if we're getting some rate cuts next month, that's going to be even better for those.
That's absolutely right.
All right, so we got a slightly higher print in AQB.
Yep.
But it's a little concerning that we didn't get more out of that. It might be running into a little bit of a problem here. We need to see some more volume. How many times have you heard me say that? We need to see more volume. That's true, though. We do.
A good CEO talks trash even on his own company, Ryan. Actually, Lion, that's true. That's
Wheeler.
True.
Here we go. Wheeler finally getting some good moves over that 65 EMA. We are coming up to some of these higher levels in the pre-market here. Might run into some resistance around 2, though. Well done, Izzy.
Amazon, that thing pulled hard off of that initial move higher. It is bouncing here, though. And I know that market pullback that you called here, that's actually getting bought right now on individual names as well.
CWD still trying to get above that VWAP. It's continuing to push against it. LGHL, that is showing some pretty decent reversal for the time being. We're slightly above the 65 EMA, but we have about a little less than 3 minutes for this candle to close. So still need some time to close that one. SOGP, this might make a move here. If we can get some volume expansion, we can take out this 639 session high.
Smoke Tuna saying Thar might be onto something. I did notice that was coming back here today. That was another one of our trades from earlier. New home sales have dropped. Let's get that data print here for you. I don't see any reaction yet in Rocket. Sorry, U.S. pending home sales month over month for July, -0.4 versus the -410 estimate. That's in line. U.S. pending home sales index for July, 71.7 versus the 72 prior read. Slightly lower there, but nothing alarming from that print, in my opinion.
Wheeler just hit 2.
Later, Brent.
PSTG is over 77. And there was just another one I was looking at that was moving up nicely as well. SOGP, that's pushing up higher into the 6 handle. Still not above that 639 session high, but it looks like it's trying to go up there. Really nice movements happening here with a lot of these different names, especially PSTG. That is just on fire right now.
Yeah, I did scalp 2 stocks here, but it was obviously the wrong one. PSTG, your biggest winner of the day.
And you said later, Brent. I got to say later, Brent, too. See you later, man. Rates are scheduled to come down in September, whatever that means. So that means
I think that he's talking about the interest rate cut.
Yeah, the interest rate cut. That's the FOMC meeting that's going to be later in September. And what's still looking good right now? Not telomere.
No, that thing is really kind of disappointing. But now we know that's 2 really good PRs in a row that have popped the stock that have immediately been sold into. So I think what I might do here is when this thing actually bottoms out, I may add a little bit more, and the next time it pops, sell some of it and just try to trade the movement back and forth. I don't have a whole lot, and I was basically just buying 100 shares initially to track, so I don't really care. But if I add to it a little bit, maybe we'll try and trade around it.
So
Marcus is mentioning bull. Sorry, 13.
AQB, that didn't go much higher than that 156. We are really coming back down, losing the VWAP in the process. This might be rolling over here. It's starting to look that way according to the MACD and the way this chart formation is going. So if we start losing this 125 level, I would think that this is going to be in a rough spot and could be done for the day or the morning at least.
Now, Marcus, your mention here on bull, this is interesting. This is actually right back to its VWAP and its daily pivot from the person pivot study that I use. So bull here, if it can get above this area, maybe we can actually do something constructive.
This one was doing pretty well, but had a real tough time recapturing 16. So we didn't get that move up to 18 like I was looking for. So it still might happen later. It's just some things that I would keep my eye open for is whether or not we can hold above the 50-day SMA. I wouldn't have as much confidence in going back up to 18 soon if we'd lost that. There is some support down around 13 to 1350, so that might be an interesting area to keep an eye on if we do go back down there. But for now, yeah, I want to see that 50-day SMA hold up, and I want to see a recapture of that 20-day SMA.
Joe saying, I don't see bull doing much today unless crypto starts moving. Bitcoin, it's coming up off the low, but it's really just kind of holding here at 113.
Well, they do have earnings after the close today. Thanks, Alec Glitters, for mentioning that too. Yeah, and Jay Rice, yep, they have earnings today. So they're kind of sideways right now. They're in a little bit of a, I guess, a downtrend off the $18 high. I don't know what to make of earnings. They might be good, but I couldn't tell you what the expectation is right now. CWD still trying to come back to life, pushing up into the 3 handle.
CWD, is this at a load spot? A couple of people called that this was done. It's basically right at its VWAP. We'll see if it can get above it.
Well, I said I'm not counting it done yet, but I'm not saying it couldn't be. It's got a tough task of recapturing 305. That seems to be the big area that it needs to get over. There's a large seller right there as well. And if we don't get that with this current candle, I think that we could end up going lower. So we'll see if that ends up happening here. If we cannot recapture 305, I think that we're going to lose the 280 support area and come down to the 65.
Okay. And there was a stock here I was getting asked about. I didn't cover it yet. Let me go back and take a look at that. ELM something. Who was that suggested this? Why can't I find it? Damn it. I always try to get these as quick as possible because I don't want this to happen where I lose it. Someone here said, hey, guys, can you take a PLMR? It was knowledge drop. Here we go. Let me take a look at this.
Palomar Holdings?
Yeah, he said, was recommended as a buy from a few trade groups, but I'm weary.
What does this company do?
It
Insurance?
provides property and casualty insurance products, casualty insurance products to individuals and businesses. So it's an insurance play.
Well, they might have a pretty good market if they want to offer fire insurance in California and water, flood insurance in Florida. My understanding, those markets are pretty big right now, since a lot of those big insurers kind of left them high and dry. Well, not Florida, but you get what I'm saying.
When the VIX hits 0, then what? Then you buy it. That would be
The VIX hits 0. Yeah, I mean,
by the way, that CWD, we were talking about that right when it was at the VWAP. It did not go through that. It actually got rejected from that VWAP and moved lower.
well, Buffalo, you have until October, right? If you extended.
I'm lucky. My tax guy's great. My tax guy's great. He's efficient. He's speedy. He's like, give me all your stuff and I'll get it done. Okay. Where do I send the check?
SOGP, new session highs 642. Did back off slightly from that, but I'm not going to say that there isn't a little bit left in here. But make sure you're paying yourself at this point. Looks like we're getting a little bit of a pull across the board in some of these names, unless you're a PSTG. That's just continuing to go higher.
And then, Joe, you wanted to take a look at DT. I believe this is Dynatrace, right? Yeah.
Here we go with CWD. Now that we finally got that VWAP rejection and the loss of the 280. Now we're coming down to the 65 EMA. So this is what I was looking for. Now I'm starting to consider this to be pretty much off the table here. We'll probably end up coming down to the 65 EMA. Once we do, we'll see if it can get some support. But if not, it's done.
Dynatrace, cloud native company that focuses on analyzing machine data. Its product portfolio delivered as software as a service shows a client to monitor and analyze an entire IT infrastructure. So I think you're right. This is probably similar to Snow and MDB. It's having a nice day. Look, up 2% here. Looks like it might be reacting on the back of that earnings print. That's DT Dynatrace.
Healthy balance sheet, makes money, nice revenue.
Zach, Monday is September 1st, but remember, we've got a 3-day weekend here. Market is closed in observance of Labor Day, so there's also not going to be a show. The first day will be the Tuesday, September 2nd.
I'm just looking around, seeing if there's anything that's interesting right now. It looks like there's a weakness across the board for the moment.
I've got something interesting for you. Our poll results. We had asked earlier, what price range do you see NVIDIA at by the Q3 earnings? 37% of you said NVIDIA should be somewhere between 160 and 190. 36% of you said 190 to 230. 16% of you said sub 160, and only 9% of you said 230 plus. Good participation on that poll as well.
Sounds like there's an expectation for this to be range bound.
Yeah. And you know what? If we see rotation out of mega cap tech, I think that would sound spot on, frankly. And if you listen to what Jensen was saying about the earnings report, I mean, he himself was bullish on everything future, saying that, this is really going to go crazy. He used the same, hype words that he normally does. So DBAI, what happened to it? Not a whole lot.
Jensen is a bullshitter.
Yeah, he is.
Starting to really not trust anything that he says anymore.
Yesterday, Big Bear, we had the CFO sell nearly 12,000 shares at 535.
SOGP pushing higher now, 677. Coming up to that resistance area I mentioned earlier, we're actually at it right now. If you look at the daily chart, this was about the area we were looking for, about 690. We also had that high from February of 2024. we're about at right now.
Barat, snow all out 36 grand. Okay,
You
well,
are fake news.
you open treasure as well. Oh, I pressed the wrong one there. Here we go. Register ring for you. Yeah, sorry about the Trump drop there. You're not fake news, Barat. You're absolutely out here destroying stuff. That's amazing. Well done. Well done.
Levels for SOGP. I mean, that 690 is going to be the big, resistance level that I'm seeing right now. If you look at a daily chart, that's the next one we have to get over, and there's going to be some pretty good supply to have to chew through once we hit that area. Don't see the next resistance area until about 750. So those are the next two upside levels for SOGP. If you want some downside support areas, well, I mean, we've got the VWAP and we've got that $6 level. I would say those are the next two that I'd be keeping an eye on. And I don't know that that $6 level would hold up too well. I would think the VWAP more likely.
The SOGP here, I think the most or the best thing to look at here, the volume is continuing to expand. Ondas, by the way, back up to 550, huge seller there, and they are chipping him. And if this takes it, it's going higher.
As far as OPAD, because I think you were asking about that as well, $4.95 to $5 next resistance. Maybe a little bit earlier at 460, but $4.95, $5 seems to be the big one.
Smoke Tuna says CWD watching that 251. That's actually the bottom standard deviation from the VWAP in my broker, exactly at 251.
We have the 65 EMA at 252.
Those home sales numbers that we reported, that sent Rocket lower here. Next leg lower on Rocket, RKT.
And this looks like that might come down to 17. I don't know about today, but soon. Maybe today. We'll see. So LGHL still trying to recap 55 EMA. SOGP pushing higher. The 687 print is now the high. We're looking for 670, I believe, or 690, I believe. I just mentioned. So Wheeler, this is also looking like it's trying to push higher. Kind of giving a little, giving some bull flag vibes. Holding above its VWAP. We'll see if this can get up to $2 again. It was trying to shoot for that about 20 minutes ago. Couldn't get there. Maybe this next move up it hits $2.
Tess says, nice move on Upstart. Out my last runner here. Ring that register, Tess. You've been absolutely killing it recently. Your swings have been so good.
Just taking a quick look at the Qs. TQQQ and SQQQ, there's no trade set up there yet. And CWD trying to turn around at 260, but don't have confidence that it's going to do that.
The man from Snowy River says lots of refinancing when rates drop in September, whatever that means, but it sounds great. I don't know that you're going to get the refinancing rush right away in September, to be honest. I do think you might have kind of a more home buying if the rates do in fact continue to move lower, but refinancing, I think you'd probably wait for even lower rates than just one cut or whatever effect the one cut has, I should say.
Some people might refinance anyway if it's a lower rate or if they're in an ARM.
Yeah, that's true. You know what? That's a really good point about ARM. That's something that we talked about yesterday. And there might be people in ARMs that might be trying to refinance before it adjusts.
I guarantee you there are people that are in ARMs.
Yeah.
I guarantee that.
And yes, that should mean more business for Rocket. Yes.
Yeah. All the keep a watch list of all the different mortgage companies. So you're gonna have Rocket, WMC, LDI. There's another one that I can't think of off the top of my head. I think it's COOP was Mr. Cooper, but I think they got picked up by one of the other companies.
Wasn't it Rocket?
I think it was Rocket. I'm not 100% sure because a lot of consolidation has been happening, but. Yeah, mortgage companies keep a watch list of that because I think that's good to have going into this rate cut environment. So OPAD still having a hard time with getting above this 435 level. We did print above it earlier up to 444, but no closes above this, and it keeps hitting it. So starting to wonder if this is going to be where we start to turn around, or if we're going to get a breakout that takes us higher up over 450. Something to watch for here with OPAD.
When you first said OPAD there, I thought you said Opa, and I was looking for a flaming Saganaki piece of cheese there. I didn't quite get it, but that's all right. It is Rocket and just got Fanny approved. Thank you, Felicia.
All right. Thank you. Yes. The one that we rely on a lot. Thank you.
Yep. Felicia is full of good information and is a research hound. Does a lot of work for our group. We thank you for that, Felicia. AIFF is curling. That was a recent mover. Is that coming back from the dead?
Well,
it is curling here. I don't know about the volume, though.
Yes, I was just going to say the volume doesn't look too great, but it's certainly making some kind of a move. We're coming up to a bit of a resistance area around it's like 275. Seems to be where the resistance is, especially if you look to the left and you see all this it's a supply right in the way of where it's coming up to. Seems like it starts at about 270 first, but 275 is the thick of it.
Okay. How about a pro tip here? Zach, I believe you're in Greece. Always sprinkle Saganaki with fresh lemon when cooked. There's a nice pro tip. Smoke Tuna mentioning ALLR.
Yep, that just had a bull flag this morning, and we are resolving that to the upside, breaking over some previously marked levels here. 175 was just the one it took out. We're at 176. Running up to some resistance from this looks to be Tuesday, where we're getting a lot of price action. This is because on Tuesday it ran up all the way up to 235. Kind of went sideways for a good portion of the day before it finally sold off in the back half of the day. So all that price action from Tuesday going to be providing some resistance levels, and one of the big ones looks to be at about 193 to 195. What's the resistance level on ONDS? Let's take a look.
It just took out 550. That's why you got the one up sound there.
I think we mentioned yesterday that 6 was probably a real big one. Let me double check that. Yes. So if you look at a daily chart for ONDS and you look and see what all the price action that happened from like 2020 to 2022, that $6 level was support for a good portion of time before it fell through it in early January of 22. Which we know the reason why. But that's why I think $6 is going to be a pretty tough spot for this for further upside. You might get a little bit of a pullback, probably back down to around 440 maybe. But eventually it could push through 6. But I think initially you're going to get, and when it first visits it for the first time in 3 years, it's probably going to initially provide some resistance, especially with this RSI being over 77.
This just makes me so happy.
You nailed it, dude.
I know. I just absolutely love it. I just absolutely love it. It was years. It was years of just waiting, and then over a year of bag holding, and now finally, we're getting this trade to materialize. Better late than never. Trust me. Better late than never.
SOGP, keep an eye on it. But one thing to add to that trade of yours, it is now long-term capital gains taxed.
Some of it, because remember, so yes, that's true, 13, but remember, some of it, when we came back into under $1 this year, I reloaded a ton of shares, and on the way back up, I was selling those shares. So yes, you're right, some of the shares, first in, first out, right? Some of the shares that I had are long-term, but because I doubled up my position earlier this year when we went back to pennies, some of it is also going to be short-term. All That Glitters found this channel last week, and I have to say this is the most impressive trading community I've ever found. Led by Ryan and 13, this is my favorite place to be when I should actually be working. I love that we are providing a place for you to be while you're working. I love that. And I really appreciate the shout outs to the community, because it's the folks that you're talking to here that make this so awesome, without a doubt.
Yep. I mean, I'd go so far to say that we're just a couple of guys without this community.
Yeah. And I mean, but that's so I was saying yesterday, I was doing a webinar with Tom Gentile, who owns a family office. He's been on CNBC a number of times. He's been trading since 1986. And I was telling him, I'm like, look, I'm just a regular guy. I didn't have a formal Wall Street background. And he said, me too. And then he went on to say something that I've always said, that really anyone can do this. And so I try to amplify that message. I want everyone to know that with enough hard work, you too can help better your financial future.
Zach's going to talk to his boss.
Brandon says, I'm actually surprised people haven't tried to copy your model. Brandon, I can answer that. A lot of people like to produce the front that they're big time winners, Lamborghinis, girls on yachts, whatever it is, jewelry, watches. We don't do any of that. And I think that's one of the reasons. Now, you look at our numbers here, you look at like a Discord that from some of these popular Twitter traders, they're in the thousands. We have a community here that's about 3,000 people or views every single day. And I think that it's the appetite of the people that don't need to see all of this flamboyant, make millions of dollars stuff. I think the people that are focused on the process end up finding a home here. That would be my hypothesis.
Yep, some overall winners.
But you know what, Brandon? And exactly saying, I would rather be separated from the crowd. I'd rather do our own thing that's helpful than just copy and paste what everyone else does, frankly. And a big time shout out to the management team here at Benzinga that pretty much allowed me to have some free reign with this. It morphed into what we did. I have help from amazing producers and amazing content team to help us produce this every day. So it's a team effort, but it's awesome. It's awesome. And I'm glad that you guys love it. It makes me so happy.
Whole 9 yards. I'm watching this too, and it's looking like it's trying to get above or break.
Which
above
one?
It,
Sorry,
this is Wheeler.
Wheeler. Got
it. I don't think we've resolved this yet. We need to get above 2. I think that would give us that resolution of the bull flag, but it's certainly looking like it's trying to do that. We need more volume.
I've got 193 as the VWAP there too.
Yeah, see, my VWAP's 184. So all the price action is happening beneath your VWAP. Meanwhile, it's happening above mine. So that's the difference in brokers for you. So let's see if we can get this resolution up to 2, because we need to break over 195. That's about where the highs of the day were, 195, 196. I want to see 2. Looks like PSTG finally ran out of upside for the time being. Might be coming back in to test that trend line as support later. 78.83 is the high. And I think that's the all-time high now.
Yes, it is.
All right. Congratulations if you're on PSTG.
Yeah, telomere still slow leak. CWD, that was a good call on that being done. I think it probably is. PSTG, a move back to the VWAP there at 75.35 might actually work. NBIS, by the way, that's a slow grind, but eventually did go to 72. We're on its way.
ALLR looks like one of the only ones that really is trying to set up for the next move. But it needs to, this is another one that's going to need volume if it's going to make that move. And it's starting to dwindle a little bit. We are 4 minutes away from that 10:30 time when volume does really begin to leave the market. So let's not try to force anything here. Let's just let the stocks do their thing. Looks like AQB is starting to push back over its VWAP, or trying to. Let's see if the volume that is leaving the market can lift this back up into the 150 area. Otherwise, if we can't recapture VWAP here, and I don't know if you have a different VWAP for AQB, Ryan, but if we
I've got it at 138.
Okay, so I got it at 140, so that's about where it is right now.
Yeah.
So if we can't recapture this VWAP here on either one of our brokerages, I think this is going to come back into the 65 EMA.
Brad says, where do we go for training to get more out of these mornings here? I would take training in the direction that you feel the most comfortable. In other words, if you prefer to trade stock, I wouldn't really worry so much about options. Conversely, if you really like options, I'd look for some more option-specific training. There's not a lot of the free stuff that I did was YouTube based, or like for options, the Option Industry Council, which I've given out a number of times here. I try to bring guests on that are going to do stuff like that. Like Mark Petrino, the entire reason we bring him on is because I like to teach lessons to people. We don't necessarily have like a formal trading plan or training program that's dedicated to this stream. We basically take this in any direction that you folks want to go when it comes to trading. So a lot of good resources out there. Benzinga's got a bunch. There are some free ones. YouTube, you kind of have to sift through some of them, but that's where I would start. I would start with low-cost programs for training first, and then I would add to the things that you feel strongly about. And if you have to pay, that's fine. But I would make sure that that's targeted and focused.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it is, Line. That's about it.
I'm actually going to hit refresh here real quick. See if I can speed this thing up.
Looks like a lot of weakness happening right now in the market, except OPAD, which just had a nice big candle pop up to 455. Let's see, is ALR doing anything yet? No, not yet. Wheeler's still having a hard time with that resolution of the bull flag.
Actually, I'm seeing some rocket calls get bought into this downdraft here. I think these are the 20 calls for September. So it looks like the dip is getting bought here. Roman with a great question. What is the best news source you use for Catalyst? That is for sure Benzinga Pro. It's got all of our aggregated news from Reuters, Dow Jones, Wall Street Journal, our own writers, and everything in between. That's the tool that you're looking at here that we use every day. Both 13 and I use this for our news wire.
Yep, quickest actionable news that you can get. And you also have some great squawks that have some folks telling you about what's moving when you're not looking at it. So make sure you take a look at that too. Charlie's great. He is great.
Charlie was actually the reason that I am here. When I was a customer, I tried out a bunch of different news wires, including Trade the News and Benzinga, and it was really Charlie on the squawk that he said, you know what, this is what I got to do. For whatever reason, I can understand that dude through a crowd of 100 people. So that was really one of my first experiences. I was a paying subscriber for 5 years, and then I joined the team to make the product better. I've used it exclusively during that time.
OPAD still putting in some more highs. 470 is now the high. It looks like ALR was starting to get some movement here, but hasn't quite broken over the 176 session high. Wheeler still trying with this bull flag resolution. It is above 190 again. Let's see if this can get going. And AQB, not finished yet, it seems, but it's kind of going sideways, so still potential for it to go lower.
Jensen and 13 need to meet in person and hash out the customer service concerns for the gaming side. I would love that. Can we make content around 13?
Only if I can bring Steve from Gamers Nexus.
Oh, that would be something else. That would be something else.
That's what I would want to do, because he would have the harder hitting questions. And he's
Wheeler at VWAP here.
Next, I'm sorry, nice, yeah. So that's what I would want to see is, or if you want me to meet with him, he's coming with me.
Apple calls getting bought. I like to see that.
All right,
maybe we might be setting up for a pop here, because that pullback that we called, that didn't continue. That got bought up. Sorry, 13.
Which one in Wheeler, or which ticker?
Apple, I was saying. I took a swing long on Apple yesterday, and I know it dipped a little bit here today, but it sure looks like things want to pop here. The market pull didn't continue. It actually got bought, and I wouldn't be surprised if this resolved higher here today.
I don't know when you're going to get it, but if we continue to trade above the 200-day SMA, you're going to get a golden cross. Could happen. I mean, it's going to happen likely next month. As long as we hold above this, above 225, I guess.
CWD maybe curling. Tuna, you know what? This is on me. This is completely my fault. I actually, when I'm going through my morning prep, I'm logged out here right now of Tuna. I have to use this more, my man. I have to use this more, and I will. I'm sorry I haven't been. Frankly, I've been relying on you. if you want the honest to God truth here, but I will give you some feedback on that.
Yeah, Izzy, you're right about that. OPAD, wow. It's up to 479 now. Looking for 480.
My big thing with OPAD here is I missed this initially. It was, I think James called this really early on. Several folks did today. Missed this here. Don't want to chase this, but grats to everybody that's on top of this one here.
Yeah, and this was also the one where I was mentioning earlier. We had that big, maybe this was the one. No, I don't think it was, but this does have some movement from earlier this week on Monday and Tuesday. That's going to provide some levels. And one of those levels is going to be 5, but 5 to 520 could be where you run into a good amount of resistance based on the price action from earlier this week. ONDS going to 6 today, says Ryan Summerall.
Let's go.
Now, when it gets to 6, Ryan, are you expecting to back off? Not you, Ryan, Mr. Summerall here.
Edward says, how do you hold a loser for years, Ryan? The only reason that I was able to hold that for as long as I did is because I managed my risk on the front side of it. I have told you guys that the first buy that I ever did on Ondas was at $9. I bought 200 shares at $9. And I kept adding when it came in. One of the things that really worked for me is that I really followed exactly what the company was doing. I actually leaned on some of my stock friends who had connections to help me understand some of the things that I didn't understand. So I would be remiss if I didn't mention that I got help from other people kind of sifting through all of this. But scaling in really kind of let me do that. And then eventually when we got to a spot where the thing was just so low, I was like, now's the time. Now's the time to really kind of add to this. Nothing has really changed. And then furthermore, I never added, I never go full port into anything. I never added enough where it's like, okay, if they shut the doors tomorrow, I would be hurt, but I wouldn't be wiped out. And that right there gave me the confidence to hold through a lot of that. Then once you start to see things work along like when they started to clean up their balance sheet, I was like, oh, great, because I know that like debt and expenditure is one of the things that's really dragging this down. When they made that a priority and then they checked some of the boxes on turning that around, I was like, I think this might be honest. I mean, they didn't just continually dilute the shares, pound the stock into the ground, reverse split it, like we see with some of these other movers. They actually behaved like a real company. And then obviously on top of that, the theme, right? The drone theme ramped, and there was no way I was going to sell a company at a loss when the theme is hot.
So Mr. Summerall is looking for ONDS to pull back to 550 after it hit 6.
Mob, M-O-B, that's another drone name, right? You guys are mentioning that's moving here. Glenn's going to get his 566 here, and he already did, actually. Wow. That's where it stopped.
Wow, what a big move. Okay, here we are. So this is coming up to its IPO high. All the way back from August 25th of 2022. The high that day was $6.66. So when this flashes the mark of the beast, I think that might be your signal. To,
mark of the beast.
To take some profit. What's another drone name? RCAT. Let me see what
RCAT, UMAC, and that's actually UMAC's been in the news recently too. UMAC up 4% here today.
RCAT only up 1.1%. Looks like CWD is refusing to die, trying to turn around here and go back towards VWAP. We'll see if it can recapture it. Didn't quite get down to that 65 EMA. We did get that support around the 265 area where it was getting support after the impulse move this morning.
Look at Google, another strong day. Who was it that was on Google? Who was bullish on Google here? I'm going to do another trend line here to the upside. This is the target. We've got that at about what, 225.
Hey, good mention, Ryan Summerall, about
D-Pro.
D-Pro, yeah, this chart looks pretty interesting. Look at that 500-day SMA.
Oh, that's on my other. That's on my other chart here.
That looks like that wants to get tested again. That would put it up to about 640. So it could be a $1.40 move maybe from here.
Yeah, that actually looks pretty good. Yeah, Brian Thomas here. Brian, by the way, I think it was you on OPAD earlier. That was a great call.
Oh yeah.
AV best in breed.
Oh,
So
dude.
I'm glad that you mentioned this, Brian, because when I look at this stock was not ever really on my radar. Once I started looking more into drones, I was like, yeah, I started to kind of learn about what AV was. But this is one of the reasons why I'm going to hold 1,000 shares of Ondas forever. My average is like 80 cents. So it really doesn't make sense to sell it. And I've sold so many to raise so much cash already. If this stock ever goes to $200, I want to still have 1,000 shares. I want to have $200,000 worth of Ondas stock from an 80-cent cost basis. That'd be something else. I think it was Ed earlier was saying, man, I sold all my Ondas at 150. I don't want to have that feeling of a stock that I just took pain on for a long time. I don't want to sell everything at like 10 and then have the stock go to 100 and be like, so I kind of want to, one of the reasons why I want to adopt Jay Rice's philosophy here of trimming a lot on the way up is so that I can book gains every time the stock makes a move higher, but still have enough stock to hold for the long term.
Yeah, this AV one,
look at this, dude.
That's the best one I talked about that I didn't end up doing anything with.
You and me both, 13. We both,
because it was I thought it was pricey, but it was It was just an absolute banger. I mean, we talked about this one right as the onset of the Russia-Ukraine war was happening, because there was an article that mentioned switchblade drones. Basically, they were these foldable drones that when you took them out and you pulled them or whatever, they the wings folded out and you could just send them up and go and explode wherever they needed to. That was produced by AV, and this was back when it was around, like, it must have been $80 or something like that. It's 248. Oh man. So to answer the question earlier about that missing out or we're selling too early, it's going to happen. You're going to miss big opportunities like this. I've missed big opportunities like this.
Yeah.
But you know what? This is not the only stock in the market. There will be other opportunities. We will find them. We will not make the same mistake again. Looks like OPAD is coming off of hitting that high of 488. Might be setting up to push higher, but let's see if what happens with this current candle.
All that glitter saying, Ryan, I did that with a huge position on Palantir. It was one of the most painful regrets. I sold 2,500 shares between $26 and $27 and was like, start the car. And now you look at the price and you're like, boy, I kind of wish I had 1,000 of those shares left. Or 2,000 of those, have $250,000 worth of Palantir. That'd be pretty sweet. Folks, just as a mention here, we've got an all access coming up in 4 minutes. So I know it's almost football season. We're going to have Dan Leach on here to do the all access. I got a funny story about Dan Leach. You guys ready for this? He's not here to defend himself, so I might as well take the time to do this now. When I was driving into Detroit last week, I had the Detroit sports radio on. I love it. I'll be honest with you. Some of those guys have some of the worst takes I've ever heard about the Chicago Bears camp. So I wanted to listen to it live. And I'm listening to these guys go back and forth. They're talking about the Tigers. And then all of a sudden I hear a drop like the Chewbacca drop, very much like this. I hear what sounds like Dan Leach going, I could see like an eagle. And I'm like, that's Dan, like the Dan. And then I asked him about it, and he was just nonchalantly, oh, yeah, they got a bunch of drops of me. I'm like, wow, that is awesome. I'm going to ask him about that here real quick when he comes up. I was surprised. I was like, oh, my God, that's Dan. Sports radio in Detroit. Let's go. Good stuff.
CWD still not giving up, but it has not recaptured its VWAP yet. SOGP, that was a nice move, but now it's lost its VWAP. This thing is certainly on its way lower. Might get some support around 560, but I don't think anybody should try and play this multiple times unless they see an actual bottoming occur, and I don't think that's happening just yet.
Also with CWD, we've had multiple attempts at getting above that VWAP and really haven't had the strength to do that yet. So be careful if that's the trade that you're going to take here. Maybe wait for it to clear that VWAP first.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing too many things that I like. Maybe OPAD still has some more left in it. We were just mentioning that it's looks like it could be setting up to go higher. We'll see if that's the case. PSTG, that looks like it's about done with the upside. Could end up rolling over here in the coming minutes. A lot of these things getting really close to some all-time highs. Some made new all-time highs.
Look at OKLO, dude. Look at this thing. Remember, this got a price target adjustment from Bank of America earlier this week. OKLO continuing to roll higher here.
Well, let's hit that trend line again. What do you say? That puts it, let's see, if we get a trend line test again, that's going to put it about 81. Is he the Indian scalping Amazon?
Amazon is like the gift that keeps on giving for Izzy. I can't wait to see what you do around Black Friday. Because Amazon stock can sometimes be wild around in both directions, to be fair. Lion wants to take a look at LEU. This is a huge show winner, courtesy Jay Rice and Lion Atlas. This stock, this is what I want Ondas to turn into.
I would like to see this bearish looking pattern get invalidated, but LEU looks like this might be printing a bit of a head and shoulders pattern. We'll see if it can go past 225, we should have an invalidation. But for now, I'm a little bit cautious. We did get a higher high in OPAD just now, 490. Ryan is saying Thar up. Jeez, why didn't we look at this one more?
We did. I did earlier, but I kept moving away from it because there was just a lot of stuff going on. But 13, you want to wrap up your thoughts here with Thar, because we got to move over to all access here.
Well, this thing might be putting in a top. It appears that 7 is one of the resistance areas that it's dealing with right now. So if there's more left in this, let it come back in and find some support. But 7 is certainly rejecting it. And for the rest, as far as the other ones go, a lot of good movement here today, folks. Had some good trades. Hope you all had the same. We'll be back here tomorrow, and we'll trade some more. We'll find some more movers. Hopefully, we won't ignore them like we did with Thar. And we'll have a great day. So take care, everybody. Enjoy All Access, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
All right, 13. Take care. Don't forget to prepare for that fantasy draft that we're going to do here today. Should be a lot of fun. All right, that is 13. We'll be back with him tomorrow. But for right now, we're going to bring on Dan Leach, Detroit Sport Radio extraordinaire. Dan, how you doing?
Raw guy. They call me a legend. My dad says it's in my own mind. First off, great to see you.
Great to be seen and great to see you. Thank you.
I've got my first Game of the Week broadcast tonight, so I can't wait for that. If football's in the air, I'm going to the Michigan game Saturday night, going to see Oasis in New York on Monday. It's all happening. But I was very excited you were coming to Detroit. Very bummed I didn't get a chance to see you. You were very busy. You're a very popular guy. But I love that you heard the famous, at least one of the famous Leach drops. That's one of the great ones. But my favorite one is back when I was the Detroit Titans play-by-play announcer for several years. We used to do this game where I had to do certain things. I had to say certain words for points. And one of them was Robert Goulet, the great Robert Goulet. So after like a big play, I'd say, Robert Goulet. So they got a drop of that. They just play at most random times. When you're talking lines, they'll just, Robert Goulet. But there's a lot of Leach drops.
Yeah, if you had told me that, I'm not sure I would have believed you. Hearing it, now I do believe you. I can't wait to hear the entire story, but that's for another day. What do you got coming up here on All Access?
Listen, very excited. The first ever All Access I did was with this same great person, Shylin Simmons, the CEO of Logic Mark. We're going to bring it back.
Okay, so fantastic. I'm not going to waste any more of your time. All Access with Dan Leach starts.
Thanks so much, Ryan. Hey, Zingers, and welcome to All Access. I've got a wonderful guest for you today. It is Shylin Simmons, the CEO of Logic Mark. She's joining us for an exclusive talk today. All Access starts right now. And it is my true pleasure to welcome back the CEO of LogicMark, Shylin Simmons. Great to be with you again today. Like I said, you were the first one I ever did and my favorite.
Well, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here again with you.
Well, great to be with you. And let's get right into it. I know LogicMark is addressing the needs of the aging population, very important stuff, who require monitoring on the go and in the home. Tell us about your hardware and software offering, Shylin, and how it compares to rivals in the marketplace.
Sure,
right now.
absolutely. So when I joined the company in June of 2021, the company was definitely not, I think, keeping up with what was happening in the industry. And so I'm very happy to say that today, LogicMark has products that are really pushing the edge of what, people are expecting from medical alert products. And so, for example, with our new Freedom Alert Max product, it's literally a micro-sized phone that, your loved one doesn't have to program. It has ability to sort of geofence for those with Alzheimer's. And it's the only product that's a medical alert in the system today and in the industry that actually allows you to be able to check in via video. Now, to be fair, all of the folks who are, the loved ones are being sort of monitored. Your kids cannot pop in on you at any time. So only in a time of emergency, when the button gets pushed or if you fell, that your kids could check in on you, right? Who wants a kid to be able to check in on you whenever they want, right? So, but it is the only product that's a medical alert out there that you could do a video check-in on. And so, suicide rates for seniors extremely high. So we actually have a suicide crisis hotline embedded within the product as well. And so really, I think pushing the bleeding edge, and we will be continuously launching new services on that product as well. So it's actually the only product where you're just going to suddenly one day get a freebie just out of nowhere. Could be something like a medicine reminder or any of these sort of services that we think are really part of the sort of growing trend for seniors. So
yeah, it's such important work you're doing. It's something that helps so many, and I think obviously everyone's got someone older in their life, a parent, a sibling, whoever it is, a friend, and this is obviously going to help save a lot of lives and really improve quality of life as well. And Shylin, I know that LogicMark recently reported second quarter earnings. How were the results?
I'm very happy to say that they were great. And so the revenues were $2.9 million on the second quarter, and that was an increase of 22% compared to the second quarter of 2024, and actually an improvement of 24% over the same quarter last year. And so our margins, great, 67.5%, a 99 BIP increase, so from the year prior. So the company has liquidity in the bank, and we're just heads down, and working hard to try to launch things. So
it's always great news. And as we embark on the second half of 2025 and beyond, let's talk about what you see driving revenue for LogicMark, what to look forward to.
Sure, absolutely. So, we are, and, for the last several years, been really highly focused on developing all of these new technology, right? As I mentioned, we were behind. So nobody likes to be behind. So we would really, put our heads down and, have been driving a lot of new technology, the Freedom Alert products, the Aster products for personal safety. So, but this is the year. This, midpoint in 2024, we're actually really just focused on growth and earnings and sales and all of those things. And so to that effect, we actually brought on Jeff Durkin, who is our new SVP of sales. And so great experience in medical sales area. And so he's going to be leading our sales team. So be on the lookout for that. And you'll see us basically really shifting our focus a little bit towards more on the sales and growth side. Does not mean, however, we're a technology company that you're not going to be seeing cool innovations from us, though, in the second half of 2024.
Well, listen, it's obviously you're continuing to do some great stuff, and we want to, it's exciting times to be doing what you're doing to try to help so many people. So I can't thank you enough for joining me. Looking forward to great things in the future, and it's always a pleasure talking to you.
It's always a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Hey, pleasure and honor all mine. Happy holidays, and we will talk to you soon. That is Shylin Simmons, the CEO of LogicMark. And it's all for today, my fine citizens. I'm Dan Leach saying keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great holiday weekend, everybody. Till next time, believe in the dream.